respects voters, and we have enough
HeartCity
voting power here to change anything that needs to be changed.
Politics, progress, game boards, objects viewed like pawns till we change up our mindset. Value of the dollars at the center of this conflict. Their lives only matter if they serve to make a profit. But if a midget sees further on the shoulders of the giant, then we should see further than the tyrant and build a future within alliance where success is our science in the quest to go higher. It's the heart of the city.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to HeartCity TV with Malik Boyd. I am your guest host for today, Dave Temple. And this is the Dave Temple takeover of HeartCity TV, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, God. Happy 2021. Happy Wednesday. Happy 6th of January. Happy hump day. Let's just be happy all together. I mean, first of all, we got a great show for you guys today. All right. Malik has blessed me with the steering wheel to HeartCity TV. It feels like an old school radio thing where I got the keys and the boss is out of town. Well, the boss is not out of town. He's actually here with us today, but he wanted someone else to just take the reins for a little bit. Someone else to just carry, and he's going to be here today as a guest. We're actually going to do a great tribute show as we honor Malik, as we have some guests come on and share how they feel and how they look up to and respect what he's done for all of us with this program here and his broadcasting as he drives forward, you know, into broadcasting and media and everything along with us. So, you know, actually, without further ado, I'm going to bring him on because I know what it is to be a guest on your own show, to be a guest on something that you created and you get to watch. This is like being one of the Wright brothers who gets to fly first class in an airplane. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Malik Boyd. Let him bring it on here. Hey, what's going on, Malik? How you doing, man?
Yo, well, it's good, man, to see you doing your thing. It is clearly a takeover. My man Doug Reed is in the chat like, yeah, takeover is official. Dave has the microphone. Yes, he does.
That's right. I ain't even do the lapel mic. I wanted to make sure I had a live mic in my hand.
Yo, you got the 5 heartbeats. Nights like this. I wish. Yes, sir. Man, I'm looking forward to it, bro.
I only know how to do it one way, man. As a comedian, as an extraordinaire, thank you for sharing your platform. I've been on here many times to promote my work, my project. Real quick, I want to take a second to promote my website right now, davetemplecomedy.com, as my special. The second one is available right now. You can also stream it, download it on iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Listen to some comedy if you need something to go ahead and laugh about, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, today's show isn't gonna be all fun and games. You know what I mean? We got some stuff, but the man of the hour is here, and the reason why we are here to make sure that we give this man his flowers while he can still smell them. Malik Boyd,
you're the one, bro. Like we talk about this all the time on our conference calls with the staff. There's nothing to highlight if you guys aren't doing the work.
Right.
We get a chance to really just spotlight, you know, what's happening and the great things that are happening in our community and changing the narrative, bro. And so, you know, I ran from this moment years ago. I started off with a show called The Way It Is on WDAS when they were at Belmont and Edgeley Road. And I ran from it. My uncle's a news anchor, and I was like, I want to do this, but sports is really more sexy. So let me go do that, right? Then I realized like I was not going to be, you know, Allen Iverson, LeBron James. The way my jump shot was set up, it only worked on Thursdays, but all the games were like Wednesdays and Fridays. So I was like, no, let me flip and do something else, man. And so the creator, you know, put me in this space, man, and I'm loving it.
Hey, listen, man, with regular appearances on Fox 5, DC, TV One, you know, and, you know, running your own production company, Malik Boyd Productions, I would definitely consider you the Allen Iverson or the Kobe Bryant of Black broadcasting in our era any day. You understand?
Listen, bro, it's the guys like, you know, the Byron Allens. And you and I talk about this all the time. Owning content, being able to really move in today's time, man. And you're doing that too, like especially in the comedy space, the digital shows, the virtual reality shows that you've done, the productions that you have under your belt. It's about iron sharpening iron, bro. So
now let me go ahead and give you a compliment here, because you definitely did sharpen me. I remember my first time coming into Heart City TV, and I was like, damn, this brother's really got, like, you know what I mean? Like, I went home and looked at my light setup and was like, where am I investing my money? You know what I mean? Like, you know, because there was nobody like, you know, that you could tell was in charge of you. You were your own boss. There was nobody pushing the button going, Malik, we need you to do it over again, but this way, you know? And I'm like, wow. So I was inspired, you know what I mean?
That sounds good until you hear and see those emails from Kendall. Like Kendall's like Kendall, between Kendall, Chira, at the time, my boy Ed, and Lance and Will and the others. It's a team effort, right? So you go on the floor, but you can't coach and ball at the same time. So you gotta trust your team. You gotta know, you know, that you can put the reins in folks' hands who really can lead the way, man. And you're building the same kind of team, bro. And that's what it's about. If we're able to build these things, replicate them, and then scale them, Philly will continue to lead the way, man.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because I actually want to bring on our first guest here, who is, you know, someone that you served together with at Bible Way, you know, and he's a faith portion, you know, but to have someone else who is a part of your team from a while ago and still here, and I'd love to get him on to have him sing his praises. If we can get Minister Greg Simpson in the room. Minister Greg Simpson, out of Southwest DC, but you know, he's basically a, you know, graduate of Cheney University, you know, Bible Way Baptist Church in West Philadelphia. Welcome to the show, Greg Simpson.
Hey, Dave, Malik, it's a pleasure to be on, man.
Good guy.
Look, my guy. That's all I can say.
My guy. Listen, hey Dave, you see the Maybach background he got? You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. Yeah, my man, 50 grand. Listen, and when we talk about team, I served under him.
Yeah,
you know, he was, you know, considerably one of the youngest music directors, you know, in the city. But the brother is faithful, not just to the church, but to, you know, the mission, the movement. And it's easy to see how God has just, you know, led him into these spaces, because a lot of folk do it for the fame. They do it for the camera. They do it to be on the front of the flyer. Greg always keeps his head down. He's like, yo,
let's speak of having Greg keep the head down. Greg, if I could have you lead us in prayer as we start to show up, because it would only be the right way.
Absolutely. Let's pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we just, first of all, come to you saying thank you. We know that it may not feel that we have anything to really say thank you for, because times are difficult and things seem to be tough, and we've just come out of 2020. But God, we thank you for waking us up this morning. We thank you for breath and life that we do have, the health that we do have. And God, because we thank you and we honor you, Lord, we want to ask for forgiveness of our sins, anything we've said or done that has been against you or hindered those around us or people in our lives, God. We ask that you work on us and purpose in our life to be better and to grow and to be more like your son, Jesus Christ. And Father God, as we pray, we want to pray for the city of Philadelphia. We want to pray for all of those who are going through COVID at the moment, and those who have come out of COVID, God, those who are first responders during this difficult time, and those who are essential workers, and even those who have not been able to work right now, God. We ask that you continue to bless them. We pray that through blessing them, you purpose it in our hearts to be a blessing to someone during these difficult times, God. We pray for our leaders. We pray for those who are in the position to make decisions for the city of Philadelphia. And then, God, we pray for our brother Malik Boyd and his team as he continues to do the work that has been laid on his heart, the purpose that you have for him to inform and to educate and to just give information to the city of Philadelphia. God, we ask in your name that all these things just come to fruition and that you continually be praised. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Now let's thank you so much for that, Greg. I don't know if you have time to stick around because I do want you to weigh in and share some words about Malik and your experiences with him. But I do have I got my next guest that I got to get on who's got a lot to do. And he's just involved down. So can you stick around or do you have a hard out also?
No, I do have a little time. I have a little time.
You know what? Listen, give him a couple minutes. You know, our next guest is queuing up, man. So let Greg rock. He's got
okay.
He's got stories in the briefcase.
yeah. Because especially, so I'm gonna steer you in a little bit, but I want you to go ahead and say what's on your heart about Malik at first. You know, just what you want him to hear. Because again, the purpose of the show is to make sure that this man gets his flowers while he can still smell them. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And the first thing I would say about my brother is his humility is absolutely enormous. Like just his ability to be in a space and know that he can be the biggest thing in the space, but still be humble. That's the best word I can say. He's one of the first people that I met in Philadelphia. Like, so let me put it this way. I consider myself to be kind of a jack of all trades. Like I feel like I do a lot of stuff. This guy does everything,
as we have to,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But he does everything on like almost an expert level. So when he was talking about that jump shot, I heard you mention, you know, your jump shot. No, he got a jump shot. He played ball.
That thing is broke. I'm like Ben Simmons, double and triple thinking that 3-pointer now, bro.
Yeah, that's just now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you talking about a brother that can, and again, he said he was under my leadership. He's someone that absolutely could have been a leader in that space and during that time. And he was humble enough to be able to not only be under my leadership, but also just encourage me, push me, slap me on the neck when I needed to be slapped on the neck a little bit. And I truly and am forever appreciative of my good brother. I call him Soul, like the Malik boy.
That part's going to come out later.
We'll get to that. Yeah. We get to it.
So odd to me.
Yeah. That's my other name. You know?
So for those of you who don't know, who are watching a little bit confused, prior to Malik being the analyst that you know, Malik was a spitter. I found out the hard way one day. I was bobbing my head to the intro song, and I'm like, and he just real calm was like, "Oh yeah, that's me." Like, wait, what?
He said something
we don't hear discussing politics. He's like, "Oh yeah, I spit too." That's
If a midget see further on a giant shoulder, or something. He said,
Listen, man, it's I'll tell you, Greg, I love you, man. I honor you. In some of the most challenging spaces in my world, you were there. As a big brother, as a friend, as a mentor. I think age does not matter when we talk about impact. And I think that, you know, it's brothers like you that make our cities turn. You know, it's the guys that, and we're always going to talk about the high profile cases because they're easy to talk about. Those are the things that make the news cycles, but it's the brothers that keep their head down and grind. You know, those are the ones that really make a difference, man. And you are one of them. And I think God, like, your level has yet to really be seen. That's the crazy part about Greg, Dave, is like, he's still in his warm-up pants yet. He didn't really Steph Curry us yet. Like, but when he starts pulling up from half from the logo, I think the world is going to be a better place, man. And I'm excited to know that I had just a bird's eye view of what God is doing with your life, man. And I'm excited to be able to call you big bro and honor you for that.
Yeah, man. It's absolutely same thing. I appreciate you and I love you, King.
I love you, brother.
God bless you. Dave, thank you. I do gotta run and go teach.
Yeah, go make it happen, my guy.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank y'all.
And it's funny they said that you would lead and still be able to slap him on the neck, which is a very important quality. And I don't know whether you've read this book and anyone else who's listening. Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. Have you ever read that book, Malik?
No, I got to put that in the
It's a great, because you realize, and this is something that we're going to see as a theme throughout today's show. Okay. You're going to see that a lot of people, even though you were humble enough to be like, hey, I'm here to serve you. That's true leadership. Leadership is making sure that your team has everything that they need to do the job that they need to do for you. You know what I mean? And it's a weird thing of not looking at, oh, because I'm the leader, I have to eat first, or because I'm the leader, I need to make the most money. No, as the leader, I'm making sure I give everybody on the team what they need, even if it's a smack on the neck, you know?
You know what's so crazy about that, bro? I'll never forget Butch Lewis, God rest his soul, former boxing promoter, and my guy Daryl Schuler. Like, I had the best of both worlds. A mentor of sorts in Butch, who obviously was the street muscle behind Bob Johnson and BET, but then Daryl Schuler, a guy who was like straight from the block, you know, who knew everybody and was able to push everybody to the next level in music and entertainment. Both of them had the same principle. Like, if you're eating first, you're not leading, because the leaders make sure everyone else is in position, which keeps, ironically, them in position. So I'm pretty sure that, you know, that book probably touches on that, man. But I got to add that there has to be a book on the shelf, man, at HeartCity. I got to bring you back to break that book down.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. I read it. It was a great one, man. It changed my life, and I do want to get into this next guest who, you know, may also know something about leadership and, you know, so we have New York State Assemblyman and Vice Chair of the DNC, Mr. Michael Blake. How you doing, man?
Man,
My guy.
my dude, what's good?
Yeah. It's a Warnock life, bro.
Hey, let me tell you, you know, I'm trying to be good because we on the air, but I've been turned all the way up. All the way.
Somebody told me it's Alpha City down there. The A stand for Atlanta, bro.
So I'm still down here.
Yeah,
Blake, you're in Georgia now.
I'm in Georgia right now. I'm in Loganville. I'm actually sitting across from my big brother here. Who is down here. And yeah, if you hear sound in the background, because I'm watching this foolishness on TV, which we'll talk about in a second. Of these Republic clowns is what I'm gonna start calling them, Republic clowns right now. But let me tell you, the last few days, you know, Malik, this is very similar to the vibe we had those last few days in Philly.
Okay.
Where you could just feel something was happening.
Right.
Something was happening. And people wanted this win.
Yeah.
And Ossoff is going to win. I'm telling folks now. Yeah. People are asking questions. Ossoff going to win. We're going to have both.
BuzzFeed called it early. Like, BuzzFeed called Warnock at like 10.
Well, I just want to say, for the record, if people can go, you go on my Twitter.
Yeah,
you called it early. I was like, this race is done. I saw where the votes were coming from. I was like, there's no way. No way this is going to be. People are like, well, the numbers going up and down. I was like, all you need to worry about is all the black folk that's about to start showing up.
There you go.
In DeKalb and in Cobb and in Clayton.
Yeah.
And, you know, I thought about you a lot, Malik, because I was like, this was that same vibe we had for Philly.
Wow.
So now, when you mention that, talk a little bit about that as far as like, I mean, so we're here celebrating Malik Boyd and, you know, his work, his efforts, and he's someone that's helped you with national politics.
He's helped me.
No. Exactly what was just said.
Yeah, well, talk about it. Talk a little bit about, especially like around the 2020 presidential election, you know, just the role that you guys played in helping out with awareness. And
well, look, I think that first, you know, HeartCity is a perfect example of how Malik was essential for us, because it wasn't a question. Any rational person knew Biden was a better candidate than Trump. That wasn't really the question, right? It was about getting to that brother or sister who was like, do I vote? Right? Like, that was the real question. And, you know, I said a lot. Philly, Detroit, Milwaukee, Atlanta, and, you know, separately what happened in Vegas, separately what happened in Phoenix. Pretty much 6 cities saved this country, right? And it was who were the people that got to the people, and Malik did that. Yeah. And so Malik opened up the space for so many of us to come on to talk about what was happening, talk about what was at stake from a very natural and real space. And then from that, like everything that's beautiful that happens in life, you know, you start by rocking on the work tip, and someone becomes a friend and then becomes a brother, and then is nice enough to take you to get some Philly cheesesteaks, right? So that's when you know, like that's when you really know someone's really rocking with you. And
Alessandro's went dim, Dave, a couple of times, bro.
Yo, that thing, I won't even lie. I've thought about calling Malik and like, yo, Malik, I'm about to make a run down from the city so we can just go hit this real quick because that thing was serious.
Yeah.
But like, you know, the help for me has been multifold. One, of course, in the conversation like we're having right now, and I appreciate the point I said earlier, give someone their roses early, you know, and throughout. You know, two was the extended connections. And I was like, yo, Malik, we trying to figure out who's doing what in the city. Boom, 2-3 calls, and all of a sudden someone is showing up, someone's moving, someone's mobilizing. And that's what happens when people respect your work, right? You know, three, in a very practical way, you know, the country was freaking out, waiting on what was going on in Philly.
Yeah.
And that extended dynamic of saying to people, we good, you know, the work has happened. We mobilized the people. And then continuing to now, the introductions that Malik has made, you know, to Dr. Kai and Made Men and so many others that we've been able to mobilize here in Georgia, shows that you're bigger than just one city, right? So we should be calling this Heart Country for what Malik has been.
Now you see why he's a leader, Dave. Look, let me
big, yeah.
Let me put some paint where it ain't right now. This brother from the rip, I mean, literally from the time we had contact with the DNC, and we wanted to give, you know, an even keel platform. I get, you know, sometimes news outlets can be very partisan because of what they feel and how they're moving. But we saw early that folk just wanted the facts. If they could get the facts, they're like, we're going to make our own decision.
That's right.
Mike came on from the rip like, yo, I got you. And I'm with you through the whole process. And so when you talk about a guy who's not only an elected official, a community leader, but then he's also vice chair of the whole party. And he's making time for you to stream any kind of conversation in the middle of probably one of the most contentious races we've had in some time. It exemplified the character that he has. And his commitment to the people, because that's the other piece. Because, you know, it's one thing, we watched this in Philly and we fought through a lot of this. And honestly, he showed up everywhere that I asked him to. Like, I'm like, Blake, yo, I think we should run here. Or he'll say to me, yo, this spot, what do you think? Let's run. A guy willing to do that gives all of us hope, especially all of us that were feeling like the party wasn't hearing us. The party came to them. And he brought it. And here's how thorough he was. Because at first people would hit me on the low, like, I know he gave us his number. Was that like the burner phone? Was that the joint he never answers? You know, is that the email he never responds to? But every meeting that we would go to, he's like, yo, here's my personal contact. Hit me up. Let's have a real dialogue. It's leadership like that, man, that I think, you know, the country is made better for, you know, skip political party, community. You know, people are made better for leadership like that wherever it may be found, man. And that's Mike, bro.
Yeah. And how did you two find each other again?
Facebook. Wow. It's like, no.
You know, we were out here on Match. You know what I'm saying?
Who's looking for a win?
No, it was, you know, the campaign said like, yo, there's this brother that's doing some good stuff in Philly. And we want to talk about what's going on in the Biden-Harris vision. And, you know, like I said, I came on as a guest and we rocked from there and built from there. Now, I will say the first time or the second time I did the interview, I didn't realize that when you do StreamYard, you got to angle your phone the correct way. So that's what I'm doing on my laptop. So like, I had terrible reception. So I'm like going down the steps at my boy's crib, standing outside, you know, having to put the phone on mute because cars out here rolling by. They probably thinking like, who is this guy? You know, with the brick wall behind him. But I was like, we're gonna rock this out. And it all came together in a beautiful way.
So Dave, here's a little unknown fact and Mike, I'm sure you can rock with me now. The statute of limitations has passed on this part of the journey.
Uh-oh.
So
Lord, here we go.
We're doing this. We're rocking. We have a great interview. He's fighting, you know, the signal, traffic, the whole nine. We get done the interview. It's all good. We're taped up. Mike's like, yo, I just want to say, I just got done this interview, yo, and these mosquitoes are killing my legs.
Yo,
He had a whole suit on up top,
but I had the shorts.
So I'm like, word, son, I got on pajamas.
and they were probably they probably looking at me like, why is he moving around so much? It was because like mosquitoes were literally like biting my calves in the middle. I was like, yeah, man. I mean, we talking about equity. And
Right.
I'm like, Lord Jesus, please help me.
That is a soldier right there, though, man. He's gonna make sure that message get across at all costs.
We bonded literally from that moment, man, and the rest was history, man. But I would tell the country, guys like Mike Blake are essential for the next level of progress in our country, no matter where we find them, whether they're assemblymen, inside the party, inside the administration, getting around brothers who are pragmatic in their approach, but steadfast in their moral construct. That's where the rubber's going to meet the road, man, and we're going to get the job done. So Mike, I need you to know, bro, I love you, man. I honor you, and I appreciate your leadership, man.
Well, we all love you, Malik. That's why we're doing this. I don't know. How are we? Let's not allow Malik to make this an interview about everybody else. We're supposed to be showing him love. He out here talking about everybody else right now.
Now, listen, it's real, because I think people see these interviews and they think, it's just transactional. Oh, so, Malik must have got something from the party or they did some private deal, or this business must be advertising, and that's why we're having these conversations. It's not, man. We're just kicking it. Yeah. We're really just kicking it. That's it. And really, wanting something better for our people, man. And so GA has something better because Blake and the crew showed up and joined up with Stacey Abrams, and y'all turned up. I saw you with D Nice, Roland Martin. I mean, y'all literally just blazed all of Georgia, bro.
We were working. But look, before we got to Georgia, I can honestly say, I've been in a lot of campaigns. Rarely do you get transformational moments. And I said this on a call a while ago. The Greeks talked about chronos and kairos, and kairos meant moment. And I'll forever be able to say, when everything got called, I was in the streets of Philly with Malik. To see that energy. People masked up, dancing, and the best part, though, there's a lot of classic parts, but like the random white woman who was just like, "Thank you, black people." Like, yes.
You're welcome. Again,
we're out front of City Hall, so we're supposed to be going somewhere else. But Mike's like, "Yo, I hear something, bro. Let's go see what it is." We turn the corner. It's mob deep, literally.
Deep. Everybody out here.
Everybody's turned up. Doesn't matter what race, creed, doesn't matter, bro. Like, so you got dudes in business suits. You got like hippies. It didn't matter. Everybody's loving this moment. So clearly, we're like the darkest ones in the whole. Two bald-headed, dark-skinned brothers in the party. And this one white guy comes up to us and straight gives us a hug, like
just a hug, like out of nowhere. I care about no pandemic.
Thank you for saving America. And me and Mike looked at each other like, yeah, this is one of those.
No, that was it.
And then we literally just marched straight down Broad Street with a whole crew behind us. Like, it was wild, man.
And someone texted me earlier today, and this is one of the, obviously the bigger casualty of COVID is how many lives have been lost, but like it's could you imagine the energy in Atlanta today if folks could be out?
Yeah. Well, that's actually what I was going to ask you. What do you think is going to happen? And like, when you said you're in Loganville, so is that where you said Loganville?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm essentially like 35, 40 minutes from downtown Atlanta right now. But I was there last night, was with the campaign last night and everybody.
Okay. What do you think will be going on today? To still be more people outside celebrating, or?
Oh, people live.
Yeah.
People live. I mean, I think we got inside. I think we got in the house like 4, something like that. Like, people. Let me give you a perfect example of this. This happened just like an hour and a half ago. So I had to. I'm making adjustments on my flight. Flying back up. I think I'm going back up Friday night. I called Delta. Okay, couldn't pick up. This is purely a God story right here. They don't pick up. I tried through my member status, doesn't pick up. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I missed the call back. They call back a second time, and they call back the second time, and they patch you through. And this woman picks up. Clearly, could tell she's a sister. How you doing? I was like, sister, I'm down in Atlanta. We're all excited. On my late daddy's life, this is what happened. This just hour and a half ago. She says, Lord, I am so excited. I'm from Savannah. I work in Cincinnati.
There you
I
go.
went to Beach High School. She was like, my whole family voted for Warnock. Thank God for Warnock.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So no, people are live, and I think I definitely need to pick up a paper to memorialize it. I think Dave went. No, Ossoff's going to win, but I think when they officially call it, I think the energy is going to be electric, because think about what this state has gone through in the last year. I mean, they lost Lowry, they lost Vivian, they lost Lewis, they lost Juanita Abernathy. The year before that, you had an election stolen. And then now you got Biden, you got a black preacher who went to Morehouse, who took over King's Pulpit, and a young Jewish man who's going to be senator, who's going to be the youngest United States senator since Joe Biden.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So,
It's crazy.
but all this happened, and real talk, because of what happened on Election Day, and a large part what happened on Election Day is what happened in Philly. And if not for Malik Boyd creating a space in Heart City, we're not able to have this moment now to be on here, that we could be celebrating you on a day that Biden's going to officially become president. That's nothing but God ordained.
No, indeed. And I want people to understand too, I love how Mike plays long ball, which is so crucial in politics, right? So yes, Warnock is projected, Ossoff is going to get projected, but the work is still not done. Right? Because politics has this pendulum shift. So as far as we push it our way, it does begin to shift and swing back. And so we've got to be prepared for midterms. You got to pay attention to local elections. You got to make sure that you have continuum between local, state, and federal in order to get the real work done and the real impact.
Right. Yeah, that's why. See, I'm gonna be that ignorant one. I'm gonna take a picture right here. Get that good. Who's is Kendall running this? Somebody take the pick on the other side. Really got that good lighting out there.
That mood, to keep that moment.
Yeah.
Well, nah, man. Mike Blake, I appreciate you for coming in all the way from Georgia, man. Thank you so much for praising Malik, man.
No, that's my
it was
God,
a pleasure to
man.
have you on today.
We appreciate you.
Hey, listen, we
appreciate
appreciate
Malik. Love you, bro. And,
I love you, bro.
We'll be rapping. But proud of you for everything you're doing.
Hey, listen, proud of you too. Give our love to the family and the crew down there.
Absolutely, definitely will.
All right.
Yeah, man.
So that is, and that's interesting you say that, because that's a proud moment that you guys had. Would you say, Malik, that's probably your proudest moment of 2020?
I would definitely say it's right up there. I think for us in 2020, it was transitioning to this platform. We spent years on radio. And we got comfortable there, right? And so, and we all get comfortable in spaces that we learn to operate in well, right? So it's like, all right, cool, we get it. We've been here for years. We know it. You fight against being lazy, making sure that excellence happens every time you rock. But having to shift and recognizing that terrestrial radio wasn't cutting it anymore. Everybody's online now. Everybody's shifting to streaming content, a content on demand. That's where it's at. And bro, like, to be honest, we talked about it. but we weren't always sure that we would be ready to be able to translate what we did in radio over to this point. So getting to the end of, really, I'd say even the election with Mike being able to experience like, hey, we're finally here, and it's good enough to where two political parties will give you their best surrogates, their best, representatives to talk about these events. Like, that's when we knew, okay, we might be on to something. Like, and I think it was also the Will.i.am day when we were able to interview Will.i.am. He's in London, and it's 8 a.m. here. You know what I mean? And able to have my youngest daughter sit next to me while we're interviewing Will.i.am, and she's like, to have her sit next to me, excited, and then be like, okay, Dad, like, that's just a day in the life, because that's what we do here, right? And hear her get that gangster about it, it made me really feel like we were going to survive 2020 and have something, meaningful in 21. So, and here we are, right? Yeah. Like, we got guys like Dave Temple taking over and going, yo.
Yeah. I mean, that's the innovation. I mean, and even you said it yourself, to come off of radio. And I mean, the people that you've been involved with, which is a great segue, I feel, into our next guest, who, also comes from the entertainment industry with you, the founder of Controller Enterprises, here's someone who has traveled the country DJing and entertaining, and started his career in radio and climbed his way out, to the rating systems, become the #1 in his slot. So give it up right now for Anthony Soul Yates, man. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
What up, Oregon? What up, Nova?
Right guy. Dave, you already knew the kind of interview this one is going to be.
Yeah, Soul. It's cool to call you Soul.
All day, every day.
All right, man. So I'm this is the takeover. I'm Dave Temple, and we're here. We have our guest Malik Boyd, who we all know he's the creator of HeartCity, and we're here giving this man his flowers while he can smell him, man. Welcome aboard, and tell us a little bit about your relationship with Malik here.
Oh man,
the PG version.
Just put it this way. Me and this man has been in the same circle for over, what'd you say, 20 years, man?
Easy, bro.
Easy 20 years?
Easy.
I mean, it was to a point where people didn't know if I was him and he was me.
Yep. Yeah. And that's based on, what was the confusion there?
It was just based on voice, because of the fact is, I mean, not too many people knew who I was because I was on the radio. And I don't know if he said it anything, but his name was Soul as a singer.
Yeah.
My name is Soul as a radio personality.
Yeah.
So people are coming to me, was like, yo, do you sing? I'm like, no. They're coming to him like, yo, aren't you on the radio? He like, no. So it's been a circle that we've been into for at least 5 or 10 years during that time.
And so you get asked a lot if you're the guy who sings, if you're Soul the singer. How do you finally meet Soul the singer?
Oh man, how did we meet?
I don't even remember how we met. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. I know we met before we actually met.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It might have been the club, because I was still doing club promotions during that time. And he was rocking radio, but it was so crazy that he had to bring me on his show to dispel the myth. Like, we had to break it down. Like, there really are two souls, and we know each other, and we're cool with each other. So don't try that Philly nonsense. Y'all know how we do.
Keep discussing amongst yourself, Kendall. If you do have that picture handy of singer Soul, you can just throw that up on the screen while we discuss it. Go ahead. You guys meet. You're doing club appearances. All right.
Right.
And we get to the point where you have to bring him on the show to dispel the rumor. Right now, at this point, are you familiar with his work, or have you familiarized yourself with who he is?
Actually, yeah, man. He had a lot of singles out, didn't you?
Yeah. In fact, we two moving, and we had just started. I just started working with Lyn Brown and Daryl Schuler. So that was like right when Philly was kind of bubbling.
Popping. That, as a matter of fact, I believe that was either at Plush.
Yeah, at Plush. Yep.
In fact,
it goes so far back. Giant was on the radio at 103.9. He was pushing my record, whatever.
Right.
Crazy how far.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Now we talking early 2000s, maybe 90s.
Easy.
Yeah, man. So if you all this bald head that he got right now, bro. He was dreaded all the way out, bro.
Yeah, I know she didn't get the picture up, and I'm curious. Now I'm asking you, but I want to ask you first, Soul. How different is the political analyst from the R&B singer? Like, do you see a drastic difference, or?
Dog, let me tell you something. My brother did a total 180. He is a completely different dude than what he was when I first met him. You know what I mean? Because we was running the streets, riding and grinding, just acting up. You know what I mean?
Thanks for being politically correct.
I'm trying to. I'm really trying to. But we were acting up. But at the end of the day, once we got into the order, and we both pledged in masonry together. Not knowing that we both were pledging in the masonry, not knowing each other that we would, each other was doing it. We, here we go. We in the meet and greet. The next thing you know, yo, you know what I mean? And
I remember walking in, seeing them like, I'm in good company, bro. I'm willing to do this because I see my brother here.
Right. So to see him grow from that to going to be running as a politician in the city of Philadelphia, and I helped him with his campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And after seeing him, take it, and he lost that campaign, but the way he lost and how grateful and gracious he was, it was just like, okay, this boy done really grown up.
Yeah.
And now to see him, doing things within the church, within the community, and now blowing up with the TV and internet and radio and all that, you got to give flowers. No. You got to give props when props is due.
Funny you mentioned his grace, man. I don't know if many people are familiar with where Malik's grace has come from, but Malik, I'm gonna set you up. I want you to share a story. There was actually a time in Malik's life where Malik was confident enough as an up-and-coming R&B singer to approach the lovely Stacey Dash.
Oh, he about to.
He was feeling himself. He said, "You know what? I'm about to shoot my shot at Stacey Dash." Tell us a little bit about how that went, Malik.
And failed miserably, that I might add, right? So this is back in the day. We're out in LA. And shout out to my man Jamal Light Hanna from the Bush Babies, one of the main A&Rs for Kadar Entertainment back in the day. Erykah Badu, Chico DeBarge. I love that brother. He was the one that kind of put me in the game. He was my very first manager. And so I had all this huskiness because I'm rolling around with a head A&R from Universal Records, right? We're out LA, and it's him and Bud. Y'all remember Kenny, Bud from the Cosby Show?
Yeah.
So we're all out there, and I have on a dashiki, a head wrap. I got my leather bangles on, looking like I'm looking like one of the
original backpack members
church in Wakanda, what I'm saying? like I handle communion for all of the Wakanda folk. So I'm strolling in LA, and everywhere I'm going, I'm getting love because they know clearly this guy's not from here. So they're asking me, where are you from? And the moment I say Philly, they're like, neo soul. They're like, oh, you must be, music, or you must be this person, that person. I'm like, no, I'm soul. Like, before everybody else starts using soul, I'm soul, right? We get in some of the heaviest parties, Clive Davis's joint, Hugh Hefner's party. But it's not until we get to this one party, there's a long red rope, with red carpet, and the press is on the other side of two of these red ropes, and they're interviewing a bunch of high power celebrities. Stacey Dash is over there. So I say to Bud and Light, yo, I'm going to go shoot my shot at Stacey. Now it's not shoot shot. Back then, you know, it was like, you know, I'm going to go holler, right? Whatever the term we use.
Right. Holler at her.
So Bud and Light are like, okay, son, like I see you. Like, go ahead and let's see what it's hitting for. Let's see what Philly do. So I step over the first rope with good money. And my confidence is growing. Now she happens to turn and look. I thought she was looking at me. I'm going to go with for this story that she was looking at me. So I'm going to run with that. I look back at her. I'm like, yo, like you about to meet the best thing for your life in about 30 seconds when I get to you. So she smiles and then turns around. I'm like, it's definitely on. Stacey Dash just smiled at me, son. We're good. There's another rope I got to get across to get to her. I make one step over there. I'm real confident. But sometimes tall brothers, if we're not careful, you know, like you can leave your limbs hanging on stuff that you're supposed to clear the whole hurdle on. And my second foot caught the red rope in about 35 to 40 feet of red rope with the stanchions just started falling. Bang, 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 bang. And I mean, all the paparazzi turned around like, Jake. I mean, everybody taking shots. Now, mind you, you would think like, Dag, homie, like put your foot down so that you can act like it was somebody else. Like, so you can get away from the scene of the crime so you can blame somebody. I'm so nervous, I still got my back foot up in the air. So everybody knows it's me. Like
it's you, yeah.
If it was TMZ or something else, bro, I would have been done, man.
You caught with your hand in the cookie jar,
bro. Stacey turns and looks, and she just like literally just shook her head, like, And you can like, so you know how like Kermit the Frog, like how his face would like the top lip would just bend down. Yo, that was my top lip, bro. I was done.
Yeah. And I love that story because I think that has a lot to do with the gracious man that we all know and love today. You know what I mean?
There was no grace in that one, bro.
There was no grace in that. Thank God social media wasn't a thing back then, bro.
So you make sure, because and I feel like Kendall wasn't able to get the picture up, but I don't know if this can be seen. This is what Malik looked like at the time.
Yo, there you go. Do that, yo.
So for you to be able to know
Yates, for real,
who was approaching Stacey, I mean, and I feel like he could have got her. He could have got her, man.
Yo, there you go. What's funny was that was back in the day when folk didn't really know the hit on shea butter, yo. So I would like super grease my lips up.
I love it.
We just knew like Neo Soul was going to be around for forever, man. And, you know, those guys went on to do some amazing things. Yates the same way. And I want people to understand, like, it's not just the entertainment side that he does. It's the community engagement side. It's the work that he does with gun violence and making sure that that's removed out of the community. He's one of the leaders on that topic. A very tragic story, nonetheless. His commitment to making sure that those stories get eradicated out of our community, man, is real. So yeah, we have fun and games, but this brother is good timber, man. And I love him from the bottom of my heart. When we pledged online, shout out to the Argonauts,
Argonauts,
yeah.
14.
We were 14 deep. They made me president while I was running for state rep, going through a real challenging situation on the personal front. And if it wasn't for brothers like Yates, I'd have never survived that pledging, bro. It was many a nights where I'm leaning on Yates like, man, I can't do this, bro.
Yo, he like,
it's good.
He like, yo, how do we start off this joint?
Yeah.
Wait. How does it go? How's the song go?
hey, Dave, he could have threw me under the bus like, yo, how you gonna be president? Don't know. Because I started off pres remembering everything, but in the midst of all that was going on, man, my brain was mush. He was my go-to. I would always like fall back to him in line, be like, "Yo, bro, what was that word again? All right, cool. How many? All right, cool." And go right back to the front, man. And it's brothers like that, who, when you're vulnerable, when they have the chance to put the knife in your back, they actually give you the knife so you can go ahead and continue to fight. That's that work, man. That's that.
Right. Well, I'm glad to have Soul here with us. So we're going to do a few EKGs, so you'll help us weigh in as we cover some stories. All right. So we're going to get it. Let's get it. Up, all right. Kendall, run the sweep there, love.
We're going EKG time.
Yeah,
buddy. Let's do it.
This is the EKG, the part of the show where we place America front and center on the monitors of the American people. We will look for irregularities in the heartbeat, offer solutions on the issues we find in order to make America healthy once again. So fire up the machine. Let's start the EKG.
All right, so I'm Dave Temple, and again, we're here with Malik and Soul, and we're going to go through some EKGs, some stories that have just caught our ears and stuff like that. So I'm going to start off, with some of the, I'm not going to do them in order. I'm going to just go to ones that, because I want to save the top one for a little bit later. It's a bit more lighthearted. All right, so we'll go ahead off the top with the Tamir Rice story. The Justice Department declines to prosecute Cleveland officers in the death of Tamir Rice. Holy smoke, people. So, with all of the wins that we're having across the board and in different categories, there's still going to be some areas, and you spoke on this earlier, that, we're going to win in some areas, and then there's going to be some areas where we lose or have a little bit of a setback. What do you guys think about this here, to hear that the Justice Department declines to prosecute the Cleveland officers for Tamir Rice?
Bro, I mean, pure frustration. But nonetheless, this is the result of understanding how much local elections play a role in the big issues of our day. The bigger the issue is, the more likely it's local control. And we miss that understanding, right? And that's something, Yates and I talk about all the time, how to get people engaged on the early side. Don't pay attention to the presidential, because when we get the moments like this, we understand how important a DA is that understands the case, or how important mayor, city council, chief of police are. Now we're getting it. And Yates has tons more perspective, being in the community on a daily basis, talking about those issues with the community.
Yates, you want to weigh in on this?
See, man, first and foremost, there should be no reason why any child should be murdered by anyone. I just want to say that.
Yeah, he's 12 years old. Yeah.
Plain and simple. The child was 12 years old. And just because of the fact that he had a BB gun or whatever it was, a pellet gun, whatever it was, there could have been better de-escalation. There could have been a better way to subdue this young person than by deadly force.
Absolutely.
So within that, I mean, all I can say is is the way of this world. And just like what Malik said, as long as we continue to sit down and not stand up and fight for what we need and what we believe in and what we should have within our community, we're going to continuously follow in this rat race over and over and over, a vicious circle over and over again. So, being as someone who saw violence firsthand, who saw my brother be murdered in front of me and died in my hands, it's just, I'm just lost to words right now.
Yeah. Now, the more optimistic a way of approaching that, and I get it, it's a terrible thing, but like you said, it does shine a light to where that corruption is. If there's any question when you look at the prosecution department, anyone up there, you go, okay, so we know where these votes need to be going. We know what we need to do. It's a long game. This has been going on since 2014. We went through the process. We've sought justice and through the proper channels, and we didn't get it. So, we know what we need to do and what we need to pay attention to in the state of Ohio to rectify us from having to endure stories like this, endure experiences like this, not just as a Black community, but as a country as a whole. This story was very divisive for a long time. It's still very divisive. And yeah, we need to learn how to work those kinks out. So,
What's a shame? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I hate to, I'm in a position where I try to find a silver lining in anything, and it's tough. It's very tough to find a silver lining in a dead 12-year-old boy. But, I think as a community, as a country, we know what we need to do. We see what we're doing in Georgia right now. We see what we've done in all the cities during this election. So we know where else we need to focus in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I have, if I can jump in, I want to do a EKG that I think is really, really interesting, right? So Los Angeles Times, they just reported that GOP rep Louis Gohmert is suggesting street violence after a judge rejected his bid to force Pence to block the Biden win. So separate of everything that's happening right now with, the vote in the House and their ability to kind of ceremoniously reject the Biden victory, we got a Texas congressman saying that violence in the streets may be the only remaining option to block Joe Biden. I'm like, where are these batteries in their back coming from, bro? Like, what is that about, Dave? I mean, I don't get it. I'm like,
we all know, but we all remember when you were a kid, the ones who lashed out were the ones who, remember the kids that would start throwing fists on the basketball court? Right. And it would just be because he couldn't handle getting crossed over. Somebody taking him to the hole too much.
Absolutely.
You have no defense against this. So now all you got left is foul or just throwing hands. You know what I mean?
But it's like, I mean, there's already 4 fouls, right? Like the teams give, like in the penalty, there's no more fouls really to give. The next few fouls, you're out the game. And yet you're choosing, like, you know what? All right, I'm going to go to try to clothesline the boy as he goes up for the layup, as opposed to letting the game play out. And that's the real challenging thing. And I tell people this all the time. Politics is a pendulum, right? So as much as we push it one way, it's going to come back equal and opposite reaction the other way. Same with the yin yang principle. So it was crucial for us to make sure that the narrative was not talked about when rioting was happening. Things like that, because the more that they were able to blame it on Black lives, whether it's Black Lives Matter or whatever,
just Black people, period.
Energy to say stuff like this. I mean, this guy is in the Los Angeles Times saying, listen, y'all go ahead and get the gas ready. I think it's game time. That's literally what the boy is saying.
Yeah. But that's also, I think that's that seems to be like the new way to get things done. Not like the violence. It's just like to be outlandish and say the most ridiculous thing, even if you don't mean it, just to get the people to pay attention.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'll say this. Thank you so much, because all of you undercover racists, now y'all all coming out showing your true colors. Thank you so much, because now you're seeing, now everybody else is seeing, oh my God, they are really going through this. Yes, we're going through this. And now every time something like this happens, it becomes blatant and blatant and blatant. And it's like, thank you. Thank you for showing the people what we've been going through since we came over here on the boat.
But so what's crucial, I think, for folk to know, and Dave, this will kind of probably end up in a comedy routine somewhere down the line. A lot of folk got real boisterous about their feelings, especially in places like DC. We saw DC even over the last 48 hours. One young white woman figured out when you touch a Black woman's face mask, she gives you a full scholarship to Hands University, right? that occurred. And it's occurring more and more. Like, no longer are people willing to be beat down or persecuted for the photo op, sue you later. Cats are like, no, you asked for the scholarship, you asked for financial aid, I'm going to make sure you get everything you asked for. And so we've got to be careful, because it's those little triggers that congressmen like this guy will set off. And to your point, Dave, they have no intention of going that route. This is a dude that's going to go back to a $500,000 home and go hide while somebody zealous out on the street ends up losing their life because they got a battery in their back from a dude that never planned on getting on the block.
Yeah.
Yep. Trump is one of them too.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So
we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out. But I think it's really important to really check that out. Here's one, and I know you have one, Dave, as well. This DoorDash piece. I know we want to talk a little bit about some of that space, but Newsweek is reporting, and this hurt my heart, because if you are part of the Black delegation and you've had your Black card for anything longer than a week or at least one full holiday season, you know something about King's Hawaiian rolls. Mm-hmm. Hawaiian rolls are a staple, especially around Thanksgiving. If there's a little bit of, ham left, some of that honey baked ham, you're going to roll that up in one of those Hawaiian rolls and you're going to make yourself a little sandwich while you watch the game or bring it to work the next day. Well, King's Hawaiian is being sued because their rolls were never made in Hawaii. And this is a class action lawsuit. Now, I don't know if there's a difference between Hawaiian flour or sugar or butter. I don't know. Maybe it's baked near the water and it changes the texture of the bread. Nobody knows. My guess is that it was never really an issue of whether it was made in Hawaii or not. But because they said Hawaiian rolls, they're now being sued in a class action because they're saying that it's fraudulent marketing that led to consumers believing that the product is made in Hawaii. It started with a guy named Robert Galinsky. Now, he's not a part of
he's got a lot of time on his hands.
Delegation, right? A resident of Yonkers, New York. He filed the lawsuit after he purchased a package of King's Hawaiian rolls, probably because he left a Black family function and was like, I need to add this to my repertoire. But then he got home and realized there was misleading information about where the product is made. Mm-hmm. They say Hilo, Hawaii, and really it's made in Torrance, California. It's close to the same water as far as I'm concerned. And honestly, as long as the price is the same and the taste is the same, I'm not tripping. Whether you call them Hawaiian rolls, Brooklyn rolls, Chicago rolls,
Here, and I don't necessarily fully agree with everything that they're saying, but it's the same as you ever travel and you see somebody say Philly cheesesteak and you be ready to raise hell.
My God,
that annoys me.
And I'm not getting mad at them, but I'm saying folk in Scottsdale, Phoenix, Arizona, stop playing saying y'all got Philly cheesesteak.
You can just say it's a steak sandwich.
It's not Philly cheesesteak.
That annoys me. And then they want to sit up there and put all this other stuff in the cheesesteak they don't even go on the cheesesteak.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, this man from New York, not from Hawaii.
Right.
No one from Hawaii is saying, "Oh my God, you using our name for these rolls." No, this dude from New York.
Yeah.
They going, man, go somewhere and sit in the corner, bro.
Yeah, but that's what happens during quarantine. People got a little bit more time on their hands. They start,
They do.
You be in the bathroom reading the back of the rolls or whatever.
That's to your point. That's major, because it took a lot for this guy. I had to be honest with myself. I've never gone to the back of the Hawaiian rolls and been like, "Yo, let me check out the ingredients, and consistency of that." No. I'm trying to look at how many more rolls are in the pack before I have to get some more.
Absolutely.
To your point,
maybe we should, because there's money laying on the table. If he makes anything, as we're looking this up, I had to look up Arizona iced tea. That's made here in Brooklyn. So hey, maybe.
There you go.
Yeah.
I might go file a lawsuit myself.
Hey, man, listen, if it works,
purified Arizona water. I'm confused.
Right?
It says they are founded in Brooklyn and headquartered in Woodbury, New Jersey. All right, so that's a lawsuit just waiting to happen.
Yes,
and the price is on the can. Sometimes there are some stores who mark it up just a little bit, which
isn't it crazy? How do I pay $1.40 for something that clearly says 99 cents on the can?
99.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
Bro, you make me mad, yo.
I'm just saying, Galinsky you might want to take this one on the chin, man. Yeah, you've been bamboozled, but it's okay. We all been bamboozled.
Hey, listen, this actually goes with the actual segment you do on your show, right? Like,
Yeah,
you may be happy about this moment.
you right, but you happy, but you wrong.
You did.
So there's a segment that I do on Unpopular Opinions, and we're gonna lead it to a video. We'll talk about this a little bit, but we kind of you know, again, same way we give Malik the flowers. Hey, we give people, hey, if your stuff stink, we let you know also. When you're doing something that's a little bit out of pocket, and I get it, you were satisfying yourself.
Yeah.
But yo, you wrong. That's like, you ever see somebody go out there and finance that brand new Infinity? They paying $585 a month for the car note, another $316 a month for insurance. They don't have no money left over for groceries, but they got that shiny Infinity. You happy?
Yep.
But
happy.
wrong.
Dead wrong. Right.
You're hungry. You're happy, but you're hungry.
Yeah. No, there's a video, Kendall. If you're able to run this video of this DoorDash employee who we noticed, she's happy, but she's
dead wrong.
I'm sorry? I need to speak to you. I don't think you realize where they're coming from, so I need to speak to you. Where the food you ordered is coming from, I don't think you realize the distance that it's come from, because then you would never actually have given what you gave. So I think you can come and see face to face. Because I drove 40 minutes, and it was extremely far, and I got it to you early. So I don't think you realize where you ordered from.
I don't understand.
Well, I think
from where?
From the restaurant that you ordered from. Do you realize how far it is? Do you realize you ordered from Colmac and you're in Smithtown?
That's a 15-20 minute drive.
It's not. You need to try to drive it. I just drove it. It's 40 minutes. It's 12 and a half miles. So I don't think you realize how far it is.
So why did you accept the pickup if you think it's that far?
They don't let us know how far. So I think you need to adjust your tip to make it right.
How much is the tip?
You gave an $8 tip.
What the hell are you looking for? I gave an $8.
Okay, I'm gonna bring the food back. Okay.
Is she fucking kidding?
My God.
Wow.
My God.
Wow.
Business. Okay? Don't even the business. If that's how you want to feel, just stop. Don't quit the damn job. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. My wife works for Instacart, right?
Mm-hmm.
She works for Instacart, and she does so much when it comes to these people who want their groceries to their home. So, you know, we live in Delaware now, and for cases of water, and then you have to take those cases of water and walk up maybe a half a mile of a driveway to get to their house. So, you know, here she is. She's all, one, little frail, carrying these heavy pounds of water almost a half a mile up a driveway. You know what I'm saying? Now, my whole thing is, she comes home, she's like, oh, I'm tired. I had to carry these waters, da 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 da. Guess what? You don't have to do the job.
Yeah.
If you look for it, don't do it. And then if she's going to sit up here, now this woman going to sit up here and get mad at this man because he ordered from somewhere. Listen, you already got it on your thing before you take the job. It tells you the distance from where you got to pick it up to where you got to go.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what she said. She said it doesn't tell you until you've already accepted the order. So she didn't know. She saw she had this drive. It took her 40 minutes. She got an $8 tip. Now, here's the thing. I think we've all been at work where we wanted to be like, yo, this is some BS right here. Right. Most of us, we take it on the chin. Most of us, we let it become an ulcer. You know what I mean? We let our hair start turning gray because we don't speak up. You know what I mean? Now, this is a clear situation where at the moment while she's doing what she's doing, she's happy. You know, she's getting all that out. Like, you know what? I drove 40 minutes. Hey, you happy, but you wrong.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
yeah, bro. And
You right here, and you don't even see yourself in the ring light, just making a fool out of yourself. You left an $8 tip, like, ooh.
right. But here's the crazy
I
part
wouldn't want to
about it.
drive. I wouldn't want to do 40 minutes of work for $8 either.
There
How?
you go. There you go. Like so for me, I'm looking at her delivery service platform. Like, yo, y'all set her up for that.
Absolutely.
There should have been some kind of mechanism that said, listen, you know, based on mileage or time or congestion, because it's interesting when you use Uber, depending on the time of day or the traffic, they jack up the charge.
Mm-hmm.
They're not worried about the distance. They're like, yo, what it's going to take to get you here at this point based on the traffic is going to be double or whatever. Well, DoorDash should kind of do the same thing. All the platforms should really do that. But they set her up. So she's kind of in the Karen category. But I feel where she's going. But to your point, screaming at the Ring doorbell ain't going to change that $8 tip.
No, it's not.
This is not how it's going to work today.
No, it's not. Not only is it not going to change the $8 tip, but you are going to get some type of
she's done.
Negative stars.
Oh, she's fired. So fired. Well, you know what? Knowing DoorDash, they probably won't. They'll just keep letting her go. She'll probably end up delivering to that same person this week, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
DoorDash don't care. They like, y'all figure it out.
Yep. So,
but yeah, you know,
so now you go viral literally for screaming at a Ring doorbell.
At a Ring doorbell.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing about this age in time. Like back in the day, I hate to date myself, but you know, we had these things called beepers that transformed into two-way pagers, right? Like nobody had footage of you doing
nothing,
a damn thing, like nothing. So you need at least like 8 people telling the same exact story in order for you to really get thrown under the bus, right?
Absolutely.
Now everything has a camera attached to it, like, you know, some way to live stream it. Folk have been on World Star Hip Hop more than they have ever imagined that they would be in their lives. So, you know, point in case, don't yell at a Ring doorbell if you're a delivery person, unless you plan on being a national meme and ending up on one of Dave's segments.
How about that? How about that? I am so glad I grew up in the time frame that I grew up in.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if they had this type of technology back when I was doing what I was doing,
it'd have been a problem. It'd have been a problem,
bro.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. It'd have been a problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, listen. So, thank you so much for weighing in on our EKG segment. Tell the people where they can find you at, man.
Oh man, definitely can find me online, www.djsoulcontroller.com. That's SOUL controller 2L.com. You can find me on there. Also, you can listen up to my show each and every Thursday night, Texas Pro Jams on PartySavers101.com and Live365.com. Just check me out, man.
Live365.com, ladies and gentlemen. Check them out, man. All right. Thank you so much for weighing in. So appreciate you so much.
Man.
I love you, man. I honor you.
Hey, bro, listen, I wouldn't be here if I didn't love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be on here if I didn't love you, bro. You my man, you my dog. I love you to death, bro.
Yeah.
And let's keep on walking over these cold and frosty grounds and riding this camel to the end, all right?
Yes, sir. Listen, so broadcast audience, please support my brother. Head to the websites. We'll make sure we post his info on social media. Utilize his services. Book him. Black business, Black excellence starts with our commitment to each other, man. So get behind him and support him, as well as some of the great Black businesses in the space.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity again, man. Y'all have a blessed one.
You too, man.
So here we are, Heart City TV. I'm Dave Temple, guest hosting for Malik. We're going to take a quick commercial break, if I'm not mistaken. All right.
Oh, you're gonna pay some bills. Look at God. Won't he do it?
We'll be back in a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
The Philadelphia Opportunities Industrialization Center is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide education, training, and employment services to assist the unemployed, underemployed, homeless, and disadvantaged youth and adults. Visit philaoic.org to learn how OIC can help you achieve self-sufficiency and empowerment through education, training, job placement, and through technology access and economic development. For a better tomorrow, call Philadelphia OIC.
And welcome back to Heart City TV. I am your guest host, Dave Temple. We are doing a special tribute show to our host, Malik Boyd. We got a bunch of people that are coming in, weighing in, singing their praises. This is fun, man. I'm enjoying, spending this time with you, having people weigh in, sharing all kinds of fun stories, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Now, with hearing everything that you're doing for people, like right now, the way you dig, like what is your daily source for inspiration at the moment, Malik?
Man, I think it's family and friends, man. Like, it used to be the search for materialistic things. Like I had this list of stuff that I was like, I gotta go get this by this age, by this date. And it's funny. So I'm a compulsive guy. Like if I start something or if I see a mission, I got to get on it to the end. Jeff Brooks, when he comes on, you're going to hear from him. Because when I first started with him and we play golf with each other, and I'll never forget, I came on to the course and I'm telling him after like a year of playing with him, I'm like, I'm going to be early for the senior tour, right? So I'm like, I can't make it with Tiger right now, but give me 10 years, son. Like I'll be right up there. And Jeff is looking back at me like, this dude right here, like he doesn't get it. But it's moments.
So hold on, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You thought you were like, okay, I'm not that good right now, but I'll get good and I'll dominate old people when I get older. That was your intent.
So you know that commercial, like the commercial back in the day with the young kid, and he's like, I can't do it right now, but I'm drinking milk.
Yeah.
That was my vibe. And Jeff is like, this dude, like you just hit a ball in the woods, bro, that we can't find. Like kill that dream. But it's moments with guys like that. It's moments with family, when you look at your children and you're like, I may not be rich, I may not have the things materialistically, but the ability to talk to them and be able to make a way for them or try and figure out how to get to the next step with them, no matter what the challenges are, to have a good team and family that you can trust and believe that they have your back. Like Chira, Will, Kendall, I keep talking about those individuals because they mean a lot. Like this show would not happen if it wasn't for the team behind it. It's not a solo effort. No man is on an island. And so I honor those moments because that's where the sharpening happens, right. And Dave, you're a part of that family too. I'm realizing this now more than ever. We don't have to be in everybody's project in order to be able to cheer them on and celebrate them and be there in support of them.
Yeah.
We act like, oh man, I'm not, Dave ain't cut me in on his work, so I ain't going to help him. Nah, Dave's grinding and he's fighting for Black folk, like Black delegation won. Like, so let's support him and what he's doing. So it's those moments that matter, man.
Yeah, I get that. And that's actually a good segue as we welcome our next guest, who you did kind of, pre-introduce or allude to the fact that they were coming on. So this next gentleman, good friend of yours, 30 years on the Transportation Workers Union. Give it up for Mr. Jeff Brooks. Jeff Brooks, how you doing, man?
My guy.
Good. Thank you.
My guy.
So I'm Dave Temple, and we're here honoring our regular host, Malik Boyd. Our goal here is to give this man his flowers while he can still smell them, Jeff. What do you know about Malik Boyd here?
At least so I don't hit a golf ball and run him over, Jeff. One or the other, man.
Well, Mitzi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a rock.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with Malik here.
Well, I met Malik through my former political director. I used to be president of the of local 234 transport workers union, SEPTA workers, the biggest local within there. And I met him through my political director, and as a result, we just clicked. We just clicked, and I saw his seriousness when it comes to, what he was about, what he was interested in doing, where his head was. And for me, obviously, I'm older than Malik. I mean, this will tell you everything. You know what I mean? But I gravitate towards younger people that I believe that at least have potential, focus. You know what I mean? And I saw it in Malik, and it wasn't like a subservient relationship. It wasn't even in some cases, it wasn't even a mentoring relationship, because when you see people that are on point, irregardless of their age, you got young people out here that are killing it. You have some older people out here that are still doing it well, but you have some people that also that need focus and need to be able to put in the right direction. That's all they need. Well, I knew with Malik that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. He's like a younger brother to me. He's family, but also I realized that that I didn't even know the direction we're going in. I'm a firm believer God has the ability to be able to put people together, and there are no chance meetings. And so we met as a result, and it turned into a friendship.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dave, let me tell you this crazy story, right? So, so I played golf in high school, at least so I thought, right? Now, Germantown High had a golf club. I don't want to call it a team just yet.
Okay.
We were like the Bad News Bears, you know what I mean? Like, we would go to Walnut Lane and hit. So Jeff, in one of our first meetings, he's like, listen, man, we do this golf tournament, TWU, Take Care of Our Own, where they raise money for young folk and do scholarships, all these things. He's like, man, come on out and hit with me. So, if folk know anything about golf, you really bring out people that you're trying to really do business with, and you're also trying to enjoy the round. So you don't really want somebody who's going to stink up the joint. Like, you want somebody who can at least hit the ball, right? you want to be able to talk along the way, not find balls every couple minutes. So we get to this one section where in the golf tournaments, they like to take this celebratory picture. So Jeff got the paparazzi. He got the black transit paparazzi lined up to take photos of everybody, right? So I went to Golf Galaxy. I had on the best golf outfit known to man. I was like, I walked in the store, give me the best y'all got. You know what I mean? I'm hanging with Jeff. And I'm sitting there, I take this photo with Jeff, and it's time to tee off. Now, mind you, I hadn't played in God knows how long, but I'm figuring, hey, listen, I'm naturally inclined. I come from a culture that knows how to do it. You know what I mean? Once you shoot a ball, you can always shoot a ball, right?
Yeah.
So Jeff is like, I love Jeff. Such a smart aleck on this stuff. He's like, you go first. So he's putting the pressure on me, right? So I walk up to this ball. I get in the right stance because I've been watching YouTube the whole night before. So I'm figuring I watch YouTube all night. So I got this. We good. Dave, I swung at that ball so hard. I killed 4 worms, like 32 blades of grass, and missed the whole ball. I didn't hit nothing.
Wow.
Listen, but let me tell you how my man covered me. I looked up because I'm like, all right, this is embarrassing. Cameras are out. I look up, Jeff is looking at me, but he's like, it's all right, practice swing, right? So I'm like, my man got my back. Thank you. Next swing, Dave, I hit the ball. It went probably about 20 feet and put on a turn signal and shot straight out into the parking lot. Roll out where the cars are. I was like, oh my God. And Jeff was just like, and kept rolling. And I knew then, I said, dag, this brother could have threw me under the bus. But yeah, he took me under his wing. And now, rather than losing a whole pack of balls, I only lose a sleeve of balls now. So I'm graduating, Dave.
Now, I feel like that means also, and I may be wrong. I haven't lived in Philly in a couple of years, but from what I remember of the transit workers, especially some of the bars that them guys hang out at, SEPTA workers, they known to take over a bar or two, so there's a certain level of arrogance that you're probably used to dealing with. Am I correct there, Jeff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's not for the faint of heart either. remember I worked, originally I worked in construction. So I was a heavy equipment operator. And these guys, I was just telling my brother about how brutal one of the guys was when I finally ran for president. And he actually told a guy, the person who was running against, I was running against, son. Now this is his mother that was running. His son, and told him that we ain't vote for you. Your mom's stupid. You know what I mean? I was host, and I walked away. You know what I mean? I walked away. You know that's his mother now. Come on now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these guys were brutal, honest. Brutally honest. But if they were with you, they were with you. Prime example is Callahell. I grew up in West Philly. Callahell Depot, I had never. It's over 400 operators. Between operators and drivers, I have never got more than 16 votes against me. Out of 400 people, 300 to 400 voting. But they knew I was honest. You know what I mean? You can't, you can't fool people. Especially us. With us, it's a little harder. You know what I mean? You may be able to pull the wool on some people's eyes. You know what I mean? But if you grew up in the hood, if you lived in the hood, if you're educated in the hood, you went to church in the hood, you rec centers in the hood, you know what I mean? You had to know game. You know what I mean? You had to know what it looked like before it got to you because, you could end up lumped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was important to me, when I see guys, I got 4 sons. So with me, because I have 4 sons, each one of them, I try to teach them, they didn't grow up like I grew up. You know what I mean? They didn't grow up in the gang war era and all that kind of thing. But I try to teach each one of them to recognize when a scam is coming. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And when you see people that are real, there's a reason for you endearing yourself to them. You know what I mean? Because it's not what you get from them. You know what I mean? It's what you both will bring to each other.
Right.
And there's no foul there. You know what I mean? It's both of y'all can do something positive, and not always for yourselves, for somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw in Malik more than anything. And to me, he's my friend for life. You know what I mean?
Same here.
And we talk all the time, politics and everything else, but you understand more than anything, what you understand in this life is what's really important opposed to what the world wants you to make important.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's crazy, Dave? Jeff has been the best big brother that I could ever have. He really has.
Appreciate it.
And, a lot of times we look for our peers to accept us. We look for certain things because the world says you need these things to work. You really don't. You need one that's ahead of you who's willing to pull you forward, and you need to have one behind you that you're willing to grab and pull forward. You do that, everybody wins.
Absolutely.
Waiting for the Facebook likes, the Instagram hits, and all that, it never means anything because the day that you're not hot to them, they turn cold because it wasn't real love to begin with. And so it's those real relationships that matter, man. And one thing I love about Jeff, we do a lot in the community that folk will never know and will never really talk about, and we laugh sometime about folk that make it their business. Like we got to gram it. You know what I mean? If I'm giving out turkeys, I need you to see me giving turkeys.
Right.
I'm like, yo, if somebody's homeless, I'm not trying to put them on the gram right now. Like, that's not a good look for them. Like, well, why would I be showing that I'm feeding? And, it's that kind of stuff. And I love the fact that Jeff and the brothers that we hang with, and the ones that he's brought to the circle, they all kind of had that mentality. Like, let's do the work and raise the whole tide and rise, all the boats in the water, man. And it means a lot to me.
That's cool.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
Appreciate it. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
We have a meeting, scheduled for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. There we go.
It ain't in the ladies' room either.
Gotta start using that.
Yeah, boy. That's my guy, man. Jeff, I love you, brother.
Yeah,
I honor you and I appreciate you, man.
Same here.
Thank you for
Anything I can do
weighing in,
for
brother.
y'all, anything I do for y'all, a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, he brought me here, you know what I mean? I get to meet you as well. And whatever I can do, you know what I mean, my hands extended always.
Yeah.
No doubt.
What I do know is a clenched fist, nothing in, nothing out.
There you go. There you go.
See, that's always them gems that the old heads drop on you right there, right?
He's got one-liners.
What they say, dropping knowledge. You know what I mean?
Drop knowledge.
You know what I mean?
But let's go here. Let's hear some of the one-liners, man. I heard you the king of the one-liners. What you got for us?
Man, oh my God.
What's the one your mom said? Oh no, we can't do that one. That one ain't good.
Yeah.
That one ain't good for this one.
I'll give you one. I got a friend of mine I just talked to last night. Somebody asked me years ago, he was involved in particularly in business, corporate America here. And they said, "Do you know this guy?" And we go back to junior high school. And I asked him, I said, yeah, I know him. He said, "What do you know about him?" I said, "Tall like tree, black like crow, talk much stuff like radio." You know what I mean? That wasn't stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, what I found more than anything is that, you start to retain the things that you were told, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When you were young. My uncle told me I was 12 years old. He was a drinker. And he said to me, you know what? He said, people dying today that never died before. You'll never get out of this world alive. You know what I mean?
The first time he told me that, Dave, I was like, dying today that never died before.
We got to figure out, we got to get this stuff published, man. Because this is like one of those, when they be having those little Buddhist books and little sayings and all that stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, the World According to Jeff is a 3-book series that is an instant bestseller, Dave.
I got a politician that used to call me every day for Jeffism. He called it Jeffism.
Yeah.
And one of my mom used to tell me is, when you start, slipping, you start slipping in life. She says, instead of asking her for something, she said every tub got to stand on its own bottom. You know what I mean?
There you go.
He on a roll now. Look, he's.
Hey, I got 1 million of them.
All right, Jeff. I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. I appreciate you sharing your kind words from Malik. Where can the people find you? Are you still over there in Cali Hill? Or?
No. I'm at the Union Hall. I left. Actually, I ran heavy equipment, so I was never at Cali Hill, but I always frequent Cali Hill.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the guys there, I come from West Philly, and I had an aunt that lived actually right behind Cali on Redfield Street. So I'm at the Union Hall, Transport Workers Union, Local 234. I'm their political director.
Nice.
And, I've been to the international, I've been to the local. I'm back. They can't get rid of me. You know what I mean? It's like when you turn the lights on, you see them scattered. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Appreciate you so much.
Okay.
All right, Jeff.
Yeah. Jeff, one of those guys. You remember when you was a kid and you had you would go with somebody to their dad's job and you realize that's man. You know what I mean? Like there was some parts of the city that you only went to with men because only men worked there. Like under 30th Street, down at the airport, out at the dump, the landfills. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, that's it.
I always love that energy of those guys. Those are guys you learn a whole bunch from.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're right along, man. We got some more guests in here today.
Yeah, Taz Neem is in the building.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you know what? Yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into the next guest. You know what I mean? She's
absolute superstar.
Licensed therapist and founder and executive director of Black Men Heal. Let's have on Tasneem Slayman.
I'm trying to be like her when I grow up, man. I need like 8 more birthdays.
What's up, King? How are you guys?
We are great. So I'm Dave Temple. I am the guest host of HeartCity TV today. and they have me guest hosting so that we can make sure we honor the great Malik Boyd.
Nah,
We have
I
our guest
get to hang with Taz.
we have
Honor.
our guest
Kendall
giving
said
him the
roast.
bird.
I must have got the wrong message. I thought you said roast, not honor.
Well, there's been some roasting going on.
Real quick.
The queen is in the building, Dave. The queen is in the building.
Tell us about the relationship with Malik.
Well, first of all, Malik is like everybody's big brother. That's number one. So Malik has been a huge supporter of my organization, Black Men Hill. He's had us on the show several times, too many times for me to even keep count of. But also he has like given back directly to the men. He recently just hosted 2 of our groups for Black Men Hill. Oh, and let me just say a little bit about what Black Men Hill is about. It's an initiative for Black men to advocacy and an initiative to get them into therapy. So we provide free mental health resources for men of color. And Malik has been such a huge supporter of ours. He has like a bromance with one of the guys on our team, Doug Reed. Like they like this.
Right.
Like I knew him first, but then Doug came in, swooped up, and you know what I mean? Like now I'm on the outside of their connection or whatever. But Malik is always there, not just for us though. Like what I love about Malik is that he really is that person that is like rooting for everybody Black. And and that is something that means a lot to me. He really tries to help everybody and he's always there for us. And it is just so heartwarming to know that we have him as a support. So of course I would show up for you. Anytime I'm available in between sessions, I'm popping up and showing up for you the way that you show up for us and our community all the time.
Taz, you are absolutely amazing. From the moment we met, your commitment to people matters, and your commitment to our health. I think the world now understands mental health, especially in communities of color, much better because of what Taz and the team at Black Men Heal do every day. And yes, they get high profile recognition. Breakfast Club, Charlemagne, and others have sung their praises. But whether or not, Dave, they got that accolade, they were always doing the work. And they continue to do the work. So whether, it's millions of views or just 200 in the community, they're given the same level of excellence. And that's so crucial because so many providers, they're like, well, if the cameras aren't on, I don't have to give my best.
Right.
Taz is like, nah, you're getting royal excellence from the rip. Like, I don't care what it is, senior center, daycare, whatever it is, where we are, we're going to bring it. So I will forever love you for that, Taz, and Zakia and my big bro, Doug, and the great work you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. See, you see how he is? We here to honor this man, and then he can't not honor you. So this is what
he started throwing. He's making sure he shouts you out. He's making sure. And where are you guys located? Just one more plug on the show and everything. To make sure that the people that are listening now who haven't seen you before, where can Black Men Heal?
Actually, Black Men Heal is telehealth services right now because of COVID, which has been great because we can expand our reach. And right now we exist in PA, New Jersey, Delaware, New York City. And right now we're expanding to the DMV and Georgia. So we're adding 4 new states in this first quarter. We're excited about that. So if anybody's listening and you're in those states, we need providers. Men can apply, but we're also looking for licensed providers in those states as well. So that's the plug for Black Men Hill. But I got some
out there, Black man. If you out here trying to just do push-ups, no.
There's more than push-ups.
You happy, but you wrong, bro. You don't want to go to therapy because you like keeping your stuff to the chest. All right, you happy, but you wrong.
You dead wrong. Dead wrong for that. Dead wrong.
I'm so happy though. A lot of the kings, they really are stepping up. They stepping up and they stepping through. They come through heavy because we busy. We be tired busy. So they stepping. That means that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful busy because that means they really coming through. So here's my questions for Malik. Because that's how she got me on. I said, I could ask some questions. So, King, I'm about to put you on the couch. I'm asking the therapist questions.
Okay.
But now I'm going to go easy with you. One of the ways in which I'm always trying to really dig with Malik is who are you behind the Malik Boyd? Like, we know Malik Boyd, the community man, the political dude, the heart of the city dude. Like, we know him in so many ways. And I'm always curious about who people are beneath the layers. So I got a couple of questions for you beyond that.
Sure.
One way that we have connected Malik is through food, through the love of food,
Mm-hmm.
because this man will post the most drooling, like have me hungry all the time, food on his IG. So I wanted to know, like, what is like your go-to most impressive dish? If you had to convince somebody to say yes to you about whatever, what would you make that you would guarantee that that meal would just like get them?
Seafood, point blank. Seafood, any variety of it. I am in love with seafood and the various ways it can be prepared. Everything else, I may do it because I enjoy it, or I watch Masterclass, right? So I'm following Gordon Ramsay, right? So I swear I can pull it off. But seafood is the one that's coming from my heart.
That I think that was one of the first, like you had that crispy, like that whole crispy fish up there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, can you please tell me how to make that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. All right. My next question is, I heard y'all talking a little bit earlier about the fact that like what people don't know, some people may not know about Malik if you didn't know him back in the day, is that this brother can like sing. And I'm always curious about like your early years as a musician and when you were a singer. And you're such a passionate person about the things that you do. I was wondering what initiated your passion into music, and then what was that like for you to like transition from putting all of that work and effort into being a musician and then transitioning your career or your path?
I come from a very musical family, and so I was around music all the time. Shout out to my grandfather, God rest his soul. Even when I was in church, I used to just watch him sing in the way that he was so passionate about hymns. And, he didn't need piano or drums or bass. It was just like, it was him and the emotion that came with that song, And I was like, I want that. And when I realized that I wasn't going to be the next Allen Iverson because, my jump shot was in the cleaners, I fell back in love with music and ran off to New York and connected with guys like Jamal Hanna. And then ultimately my big bro, Lyn Brown and Dal Schuler and others. And I started this musical journey. Lynn and I started Unplugged, and we spent years with this open mic. Thank God is still the second longest consecutive running open mic to happen in Philly outside of the Black Lily, which was absolutely phenomenal. And we would spend time falling back in love with music, sharing the space. And so we would bring a flowetry to the same stage as unsigned artists and allow them to share the stage together at the height. Lynn was bringing Teddy Riley down to check out talent and Drew Hill and all these other great folk. And in my mind, I was always at war with, am I better as an artist or better to push others? I never told anybody that. Lynn knows that because Lynn and I would have these kind of conversations. And I went on to be managed by Cool from Kool and the Gang. And so I'm with him on the 30th anniversary tour, and I'll never forget it. It's Kool and the Gang, the Gap Band, and the Isley Brothers on their 30th anniversary tour. I mean, this is an amazing tour. Like, it's nothing to sit behind Jones Beach Amphitheater with Ron Isley and play horse because there's a basketball court behind the stage. Like, it was just moments that was just like, I don't even deserve to be here, but I'm gonna eat up every bit of this moment. To sit with Charlie Wilson and talk with him about the Gap Band and what goes on behind the scenes, I knew, okay, I think I'm ready to move this to the artistry level. And I started picking up more instruments, started writing more, called Lynn, and we're grinding out. And then one moment, I'll never forget, it was Atlantic City. And Cool was playing, I believe, Harris. And this is the day that JT left the group, their lead singer. And I looked at the stage and something just didn't feel right. And I was like, all right, guy, I don't know what this is, but if music is not for me, by the time this performance is over, take the taste out my mouth. By the time Cool got off stage, JT was already angry. He was already saying what he said. He had literally just left the group. And I look at Cool and I give him a hug and I tell him I appreciate everything that you've done for me. But I literally had lost the taste of performance. And I walked away from it and I was good. Like I was really good. I had peace with it and people couldn't understand it, you know. And you know, it wasn't like I was like Luther or Prince or something like that. Like it wasn't, you know, a major issue for the industry, but people couldn't understand why I walked away. It was because I asked for something and God gave it to me.
Right, right.
And I tell people, be careful what you ask for, because he very well may answer all of that. And so over the years, I fell back in love with music, but on my own terms. Not pursuing it as a career, but being able to release when I want and all those kind of things. And I love my guy Lynn and folk like Kiana Montgomery and others who stood by me. But my brother Lynn managed me through all that process, not just as a manager, but as a friend. And so now, if I was ever to get back into it, Taz, it would be on my own terms. And I think that's where the pure love would really come from.
Right.
I love that. Wow. See, this is the type of stuff that I love. I'm like, yeah, I love getting to know like who you are and what you're passionate about and what's your story behind the story. Those are some of the things that I really feel like give people a sense of the whole person.
Yeah.
So my last little tidbit now, I don't know if you want to get to this now, if you want to oblige us with this before the show is over. But I know I'm not the only one curious, because when I was on Facebook, somebody had put it in the comments. They wanted to hear a little something. I mean, that's what the people said. That's what the people said. They said they just want to hear a little snippet of a little something, you know, a little parade, a little something. I'm just putting it out there.
See, the way my voice is set up right now,
you set up here a glass of water just in case.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that this black is a robe that he peels off to like a shiny suit under there, and he was like, "Well, okay."
Well, maybe Brother Lynn might be able to get him to sing a little something.
So,
wow, Taz, you really put the nails in.
Yeah, like she did.
Yeah, I'm putting him on the spot. That's what I said. You could do it at the end of the show, but
yeah, because I mean, the purpose of the show, Malik, is to give you your flowers while you can smell them.
Yeah, but my job is not to kill the flowers. Bad notes, right? Like you can't get to the end of the show and jack it up.
He sounds so good.
So there was this song I used to do all the time, and it was so funny because soul was known for like all this falsetto stuff, and I don't do it anymore. But
you speak of him in the third person, huh?
Man, it's crazy. So Prince had all these records that that people, unless you really knew Prince or you knew his catalog, you wouldn't know these songs. But he had this record called "Let's Have a Baby," and I used to sing that all the time. So the record is just all piano, like it's classic Prince, and he would start off, I can't wait no more, no, let's have a baby, yeah. What are we living for, oh sugar? Let's make love. Let's make love, baby. So long have I gazed into your eyes, wonder what it would look like on a newborn child. And I cannot lie when my hand is on your thighs. I'm thinking, isn't it a miracle that life comes from inside? And so long have I listened to your voice, wonder what it would sound like come from a girl or a boy. Isn't it funny when you truly love? I just thought of such things can bring you so much joy. I can't wait no more. Like it just goes on.
Yeah. All right.
So I apologize for whatever smartphone screen got cracked. I think Signal will cover your insurance on that.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome to all the ladies who was watching, the lady in the comments.
Listen, Lynn will tell you that song got me in trouble. Lynn would be like, "Yo, bro, you can't do a song no more, man. Like, we need new records, bro."
Yeah. Taz, I want to thank you so much for coming on. You know what I mean? Making them do that for the people. This is one hell of a show.
You're welcome, audience. Yes, we all wanted it.
Listen, one of the things that I want above all is for people to be healed, including myself. Taz is one that's like, yeah, bro, I see everything you're doing. Just wait. Like, I'm still waiting on you. Like,
I'm always trying to lure him in. Well, when the last time you've been to therapy, bro?
Yeah.
You out here happy, but you wrong.
Yeah, but you happy, but you wrong, right? And so for everybody that's checking out the broadcast, by all means, check out Black Men Heal. We all need it, and understand you're not on the island. Like, there's a team here that's willing to help. There's a team here that will hear your innermost feelings, thoughts, vulnerabilities, and not share it in this age where people, but that's one of the things we're afraid of. Like, I want to talk to you, but if I tell you about what I did last summer, will it end up on World Star Hip Hop? That's not what this is about. This is purely professional, but Black excellence at its best. So please.
And Taz, one more time, where can the people find you at, like, on social media?
So they can check us out at blackmenhill.org, or they can go to our social pages, Instagram or Facebook at Black Men Hill. That's HEAL, not HILL.
Yes. There you go.
You got to make sure, because there's a whole other page. Black Men Hill.
Right. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for coming on, man.
All right.
Now, Malik, do you ever get recognized, like, by anybody? Like, have you ever been, like, out at a diner and there's a woman at the next booth who she don't even have the balls to come up to you? She got to send her daughter over to you and be like, I think that's the guy.
Yeah, and they'd be like, I hate what you said last week. I'll tell you, I will never forget. So two stories. So when I used to be a standing guest on Roland Martin when he was on TV One, and that trip, for folk who don't know, it's not sexy having to get up at 2 a.m. or leave Philly at 2 a.m. to get to Atlanta at 5 so you can be on air at 6. Like, that's a real grind, right? And so you're not really being paid for these things. So you need to understand, like, you might get an Uber, but other than that, you cover this whole experience and journey. So if you're on as a standing appointment, it's dedication. You're committed to, the slot, and understanding that if you don't show up, there's others who will show up on screen and present. And we just had a contentious show this one day, and I go out to eat with the person that I was working with at the time, and this table of, because I'm very pragmatic. I'm like, I'm not just riding party lines. If something's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And that doesn't always bode well, and folk are just like, Dems are right. Republicans right. It's no middle ground at all. And the person that talks middle ground gets ran over by both sides. So I'm on that show doing some middle ground work, which is costing me some hits in the chats and all of that. And we get to Capitol Grill, and we're sitting down eating, and this table, 2 tables away from us is all Black women. And Dave, like, they're giving me like the ice grill because I didn't ride with this one point, and I knew, like, and I, how, like, you can see them mouthing the words, like, it was like, yeah, that's him right there, like, that's that boy. And I walked past the table, and one of them said something smart the whole night, and I ended up saying to them, like, listen, like, it's not personal, like, I'm here for the benefit of the community. I believe in the community just like you. Like, it's, and we ended up being cool. But seeing that it's an exhilarating thing, but if you're thin-skinned, it also it'll chip away at the armor for real.
Definitely.
And then so the other one was coming up 95 and stopping at the Maryland House. And I stop and I get in the fast food line, and this lady, and we had just got done another segment, just completed another segment, and this older Black woman came up to me and she said, "I just want to hug you." She was like, "I watch you faithfully on the show." And she said, "I'm praying for you. Like, there's a great work ahead of you." She didn't know me from a can of paint. You know, and I'm looking at like the team, and we're like, wow. So like, you actually recognize me, not just the one who's hosting. Like, okay, so maybe this does mean something to do this, and maybe, you know, there is more than just showing up for you know, whatever dialogue. And I'll never forget that journey, but it let me know that somebody's always watching, somebody's always inspired by what you do, and so, you know, just to keep doing it. But
Yeah,
those moments, they can be interesting, man, especially if they're not feeling what you said, you know.
Yeah, man. Well, man, this has been a wonderful journey, and we got one more guest to bring on, man. His name has been mentioned a few times. Your former business partner in Philly Unplugged, former manager of the person that we've been referring to in third person all night as Soul.
So he will always be my manager.
Yeah, I want to welcome the manager of Soul, Mr. Lyn Brown. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, what's happening, y'all?
My guy, what it is.
Hey, Dave, man, it's good to see you, bro.
Same here, man.
This is really good to see you, man.
Great to run into all of this connection. So I'm a comic. Lyn used to produce some of the flyest comedy shows. Like, you know, and now I see why. You were definitely on a different level. And Lyn used to get on us. He'd be like, "Man, I can't be putting y'all on my stage if y'all not gonna bring it."
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Real
but
rap.
we are on here today giving Malik the praises. I'm the guest host. We're here to make sure Malik gets his flowers while he can still smell them. Tell us about your relationship with Malik Boy, Lyn.
Definitely the PG version, Lyn.
I've been watching the show, so most people listening or watching already probably know our relationship. So I don't really have to get too much into that. But one thing I gotta speak about, when you was just singing that song, it was crazy because I couldn't look in the camera because it looked like you was like singing to me, so I had to keep like turning my head. I was like, "Yo, I can't." And it was a Prince song. You know, you can't look Prince in the eyes when he's singing. So I'm like, it was like, "Yo, I'm not even gonna look at this part." I was about to log off for a minute and let you finish that.
Yeah, you might want to work that out at Blackman Hill, Lyn. You know what I mean?
Oh man, but dude, we got so much history. I listen. I told Kendall, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to end. So I told her, it's just got to be a vibe as far as
tell
what
us
we're gonna
all,
talk
for
about.
the people who don't know, tell us a little bit about Philly Unplugged.
Oh man, Philly Unplugged was it was the home of open mic. Any artists in the city in the tri-state area that wanted to come and show what they had, they came through us. Not only did we do open mic, but we also brought in national talent as well. So maybe some of those shows we use them to close out the show. And they also filled our seats as well. But yeah, I mean, Philly Unplugged was a great vehicle. And it probably, I want to low key say it jumped off a lot of other open mics in the city too. Just from the blueprint we laid.
It did.
Right.
And
which is the beautiful thing, right? Now, at the time, it kind of feels like, oh, y'all biting off of us or whatever. But looking back on it, do you look at what you guys sparked and look at any, what do you call those, replicas or any kind of, what do you call it? Not indicators, reflections, flattery. What do they call it? Imitations. Imitations.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not going to sit here and say that we were the only ones doing it or we started it or whatever. We just took it and we took it up a notch. Through my relationships and Malik's, I can't keep calling this guy Malik.
You say
I don't know Malik.
The cat is out of the bag.
Listen, I don't know Malik. So if y'all here to talk about Malik, I don't know him. I told Kendall I don't know Malik.
Yeah.
I know Soul,
Yeah.
and that's who I rock with. So it's hard for me to even say Malik. So the good thing about this particular segment or interview is we're not going to talk about none of the politics because I don't know none of that. Yeah. We ain't going to talk about none of the other stuff he's done. All I know is Soul. Yeah, I know Soul. But anyway, yeah. But the Philly Unplugged was a great vehicle. It led to so many openings later on down the line that we had. So I'm proud of it. Man, after this COVID is over, we talked about kicking it back off again. So that's something that I want to be actually looking forward to doing in the near future. So
and I'm excited about it, man, because some of the work that we would do, like we would come out of our own pocket, do trivia in the middle of the show. Like we'd stop a show and ask artists, "Hey, do you understand what cross collateralization is in a deal?"
Yeah,
like so people
I remember that. Yeah,
home and learn terminology of record contracts so that they could win the prizes that we would give them. Like we took artists from Philly up to Binghamton, New York to perform for the mayor of Binghamton, New York. Like when we started, we were working on LA Unplugged and we were connecting cities. So we need the hottest artists from this city to come to this city and that city to go to that city. It was always, how do we create paths for folk to chart the best course for their music career? And that was one of the things that I loved about Lyn, because Lyn also he managed me through my artist process, but also understood like, yo, Malik, there's a lot that we can give to the industry as a whole. So I'm gonna let you balance that out, artists and what we're doing on the production side, and the impact, man, was phenomenal. Lyn, to this day, I tell people there was no better A&R than Lyn. Like Lyn, if Lyn's with you,
Lyn was out in the street, bro. Lyn was always out watching talent.
Yeah, if he's with you, he is with you, man. And I've watched it from the biggest artists, from the Teddy Rileys and the Pharrells and the like, all the way down to the guy who's grinding on the block, man. If Lyn is with you, you get 100% quality.
We could say that, yeah. Only because I wasn't really I never really put like friendships into it, all that type of stuff. I don't really care about none of that stuff. I just care about the quality of the music and whatever it was you was bringing to the stage. I don't care how close of a friend you was. If you was whack, you was whack. That's the same thing I did with comedy, and I'm pretty sure Dave can attest to some of that stuff. I don't really care about. I don't care how funny you are. Like when I was doing like my comedy shows, like locals, I really never used locals because a lot of the locals couldn't put people in the building. Yeah. And a lot of the locals didn't understand that. They were like, and I took that from what we were doing, at Unplugged. I mean, a lot of times we would have like local headliners, but they wasn't really filling the seats up. So we had to go to New York and go grab, who do we have, like Fondicia and whoever was hot at the time? We'll bring them in just to get the people in. That's the same thing I did with with a lot of the comedy shows. A lot of the upcoming comedians didn't really understand my method, but I'm like, dude, I don't really care how funny you is. I want to see if you could get 20 people to come here and see you, then then we good. Yeah, and that's how I ran it.
He was that same way with the music too.
Same way.
You're not wrong. I've been doing comedy now, 16 years. I just put out a special on Christmas Day. And what I love about independently producing my projects, but this is my second project, is the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. So it's a reality of and I tell artists this now all the time, if you got a problem with the fact that you're not being booked, put something out there yourself and see how many people buy it. And then you'll understand. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, if you're selling tickets on your own, if you're selling a project on your own, then you'll be like, well, what the hell I need somebody to book me for? I already know what's coming back. You know what I mean?
I told a lot of people a lot of people, for whatever reason, I don't know, they just came to me for whatever management, comedians and singers. And I always said, I don't care how good you can sing. I need something to manage. So a lot of people thought that the manager title is like, oh, I got a manager now. No, I'm not managing nothing if there's nothing there to manage. So a lot of people didn't really understand that. So, but yeah, with me and Soul, man, our history. I mean, we could talk about our West Coast. You know, when we moved out to the West Coast to LA, we could talk about, you know, our trip to Miami. You know, we want to talk about that. Like, I'm gonna let him lead on that.
So let's talk. Is Miami for shows, or we going to Miami to record? Talk to me.
Miami was not for show. Well, you know what kind of show you want to talk about. Like, it was crazy. So me, Lynn, and young brother named Jamal, we were rolling thick at the time. So much so, it was crazy. Like, literally, we were going toe to toe with AI's crew at Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
It was so crazy that he had a table, we had a table, and we'd be there breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Like,
it was
that was our office.
It was our office. Literally, people meet people there, strike deals there, the whole nine. We got so cool with the crew, like they would literally move people. Like, yo, they're in. This is their table. Like, it was the wildest thing ever. And so one day, you know, this crew that we had all gotten cool with at Fridays, they like, oh yeah, we're going down Miami, and they hit Lynn up because they get stuck on travel plans. Lynn taps me up like, yo, what you want to do, man? You want to head down Miami and save this crew? I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. And we get down there, and I'm gonna let Lynn tell the rest of this story. It's a classic one, Dave. This one is for the never to be told again.
I'm glad that way we get to end on a good, nice big story. Hit us with a clip.
We get down there on a room hookup because they had no room, nothing. They went down there with some dudes that excommunicated them.
Okay.
mind you, they drove down there. It was, how many was it?
16 hours.
It was like 4 or 5.
It was 4 of them. They drove down there in a Lexus coupe. I'm talking about an SC, like a SC 300 or 400. 5 of them in a small little Lexus drove from Philly to Miami, and they ain't had nowhere to go. So, you know, we had our connects or whatever. We had a villa that was crazy. Oh, it was crazy. But anyway, we wound up saving them. That's just the PG version. But more about Malik.
You see how you saved that, Dave?
Yeah, we saved them.
But I can tell the LA story because that was his, you know, part of his musical journey. I was out there with Teddy, and we were I don't know what the heck we was doing out there, but we were out there. I'm like, Soul, you need to come out here. Got these hot producers, man. Hot producers. Got him in the studio with them. Pretty much recorded almost a whole album.
Yeah.
And if y'all heard some of that music, it's still relevant today. Yeah. We went in there and did that. Like, and it was crazy because Dave, you noticed being from Philly, right, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
You noticed from being from Philly, it's crazy because like your hometown never supports you. You know what I'm saying? We had at the time the hottest producers in Philly, on the charts, blowing up the charts. We had the hottest producer, but none of them. I couldn't get none of them to work with Soul, not because they knew him or anything. It's just a Philly thing. You know what I'm saying? So we had to step out and go to LA and get with some cats that's just as hot.
Yeah.
And we got with these guys, man. And they pretty much like took us in with open arms, man. And I ain't talking about like just regular producers. These dudes produced Tweets, whole album, a whole bunch of other people, man, like incredible. But they came in and let us do whatever we wanted to do, man. And I appreciate them guys to this very day for that.
And the beautiful thing about it was, and the reason why I love Lynn for that, man, was because it also helped to mature my sound. You know, there's a difference when you're around the same folk all the time. Nobody ever really breaks out the mold and does something different.
Right.
And being out there with them, you know, and being out there when stuff was popping that the East Coast had never really heard of. So we were out there during the time Bobby Valentino's Slow Down had just started. It hadn't even hit the East Coast yet. You know, back when they were sneaking releases of Usher's what album was that? Was it 8701?
I want to say 8701, yeah.
So they're like playing it in the club before it even drops anywhere else. Like, we're able to see that space, right? We're on the set of Eve every Thursday while they were taping,
Right.
Sure. Yeah,
where
yeah.
all the Philly cats would get together and vibe, you know, and DJ Miz was out there doing music supervision, and Charlie Mack, Bilali B, like the list goes on. Lyn was able to navigate a lot of that. Troy Carter, when he was making his journey, Lyn was like kind of like the linchpin of keeping people grounded from Philly. Like, yo, remember why we here. Like, let's not get Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And we started
you
Unplugged
remember,
out there.
You remember the rainbow story, bro? On the 10? Colony?
You gotta enlighten me. You gotta enlighten me
So,
on that one.
Dave, this joint is crazy. So we have made the decision because Lyn has set us up. We're living in the valley. We're good. Lyn shows us the Colony townhomes that are right off the 10. So we go to see them. Lyn's like, yo, I'm thinking about scooping up one of those. I'm like, and we were kind of like, yo, if one scoops, the other scoops. We just connected with this guy who gave us T-Mobile sidekicks, the second version, right? So we had him before everybody else had him. He was the celebrity connect.
I remember that. Yep. So
we're going to do everything together and rise together in that regard. So I go to grab a townhome. He grabs a townhome. And I was still partying and promoting parties at Emerald City here.
Yeah. He's flying home every weekend.
I would fly home every weekend and then fly out Monday morning with the bag. And that was how we lived.
Yep.
Man, this one weekend I decided not to go. Because Lyn had just clowned me the week before because it was snowing, right? And so he's clowning me like, yo, bro, why you keep going back?
It was in December, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, why you keep going back?
You went home for Christmas, I think.
Went home for Christmas. So I'm like, I'm not going to go back this week. I'm going to chill here. So we're leaving the Colony and we're riding on the 10. And the 10 kind of, loops around some mountains, the whole night. And it just got finished raining. It's about 11:30, 12 in the afternoon or morning, and we see a rainbow. And literally, it's a whole rainbow. For the first time ever in our lives, we see the whole rainbow, the whole joint, front like end to end. So I'm like, dude, this is crazy, bro. It's two black brothers in a white Cadillac Escalade trying to like comprehend seeing the end of the rainbow. Like, that's some Lucky Charms nonsense. You never really. It's like, nah, it can't be possible because it looks like it's coming on the end of the 10 on the other side of the mountain. So we're like, nah, it's probably gonna fade, and this is a mirage. It can't be on the end. It can't be on the highway. Dave, we turned the corner, bro. The rainbow literally ended on the highway, on the concrete, bro. Straight to the ground.
Wow. There wasn't no pot of gold there either.
No. so we're the first blacks to confirm that there's no money at the end of the rainbow. We saw it. So now, I'm spiritual in this. So I'm like, all right, so rainbow. All right, I know that promise, but I'm like, bruh, what happens if we go through the rainbow? Like, me and Lyn are like contemplating life. Like, do we warp somewhere? Like, what's up? so I'm texting folk on the sidekick, like, yo, we about to go through the rainbow, son. Like, Lyn and I go through this rainbow. Clearly nothing happens. But right before I get to the rainbow, I say, you know what? Everybody talks about wishing on a rainbow or making a wish and all this kind of stuff. I said, all right, let me try it out. Listen, God, I want my music career to be successful. So blow this thing up. We out here, we doing what we got to do. But if this isn't what's supposed to be, then you make a move. Because I'm thinking I'm gangster talking to God, right? Imagine how that works out. Me and Lyn go through the rainbow. We look at each other like, yo, we still here. All right, clearly, there's nothing to this rainbow concept. My phone rings. It's one of the first few phone calls I got on the sidekick too. It's the owner of the club telling me, yo, your club night is done. Somebody got shot last night.
Oh, wow. So you didn't go. Your event still happened. Somebody gets shot at your event. And you get the call as you're driving through a rainbow. Like, yo.
I asked them to give me a sign. Wow. I come out the rainbow. The phone call instantly. Yo, your night's done. Somebody got shot. This is a wrap. Now, mind you, the way my financial literacy was set up, I didn't have all the classes. So I'm taking club money, just spending it out in LA, never thinking, oh man, you're taking thousands of dollars on a plane every week. You should save. You should have purchased the house. You should be moving in real estate. Some of the stuff that we talk about now, I talk about from experience because I screwed it up.
Right.
Now, mind you, I'm like, Lynn, bro, like, I'm about to be on E out this thing because this night is done. I got to fly back now to save the townhouse and everything else we're going to do. I think, Lynn, I probably had, maybe 50, 60 pairs of New Balances.
Yeah, you left a lot of stuff out there.
Oh, it was crazy, man. Yeah. Dave, I went home and Premiere started, and that was it. I mean, of course, obviously, Lynn and I stay in contact. That's my brother. We I will love him for life. But that was the beginning of the marketing, the beginning of the shift from soul to, the work that Malik is doing.
Yep.
Wow.
It happened on the 10 coming through a rainbow with my man Lynn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy, man.
That is, if that isn't a reason to give that man his flowers, then it's because you guys are witnessing something great. You guys are witnessing something that is clearly a part of a divine intervention that has put him on this path for us to, hear the words, hear the wisdom, hear the experiences, and to watch the continued growth. Malik. So, I am absolutely honored, to be a part of this journey in any way, shape, or form. Lynn, it's so great to have you come on here and bring us that story. You know what I mean? Because without us getting into the soul days, we don't
right.
You know what I mean? Tad got him singing. And Lynn got us telling the story on how Malik was reborn as Malik Boy. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's a hell of a show, man.
Yep.
Lynn, where can the people find you at, man?
I mean, they find me, man. I'm not I ain't in all the.
You're not the spotlight, okay?
I listen. The whole time we ever did shows, I never got on stage.
Nope.
Even at the comedy shows, you never see me on stage, Dave. I don't do none of that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Well,
I'll only go on social media.
Anything that are currently in the works that you want to talk about or let the people know about?
COVID is in the process.
You behind that?
It, man.
Damn, you good, boy.
Right. You know what I mean?
COVID killed everything, man. So it ain't even nothing to really even talk about. I mean, I'm on social media. I only go on social media to see what's funny. That's it. I scroll to see funny stuff. I'm not no public figure and nothing like that, man. I just do what I do, man. So
hey, man, well, we appreciate that because
if they looking for me,
brothers like Malik don't exist. Brothers like Malik don't have the blueprint to build and market and do what it is. So we appreciate you being behind the scenes because it's needed, and I'm glad to at least shine a little bit of light on the people behind the scenes and so people can see what someone behind the scenes really looks like.
Yeah,
he said it. I don't be on stage. I don't be all in the videos.
Yo, Dave, I was literally ready to segue into that, but go ahead, you got it. I was literally going to say that.
But that's the best part about it. If there's anything that I can say about my friendship and brotherhood with Lynn, who literally I would lay down my life for. This brother has saved me in numerous situations, plenty of times. But the blessing is such an excellent partnership. He will forever be my business partner, forever be, my manager. There's this compliment. Like he understood, like, all right, Malik, you're gonna go you're gonna go do the microphone thing.
Yep.
Like while you doing that, I'm crunching numbers. I'm looking at in the back. I'm looking at the Bulls trying to see if we're gonna leave out that door with the bag of money. Like he was watching the whole room so that I could be the best on stage with the band.
Right.
That's so crucial because nowadays we want to be everything in every operation, and you can't. You got to get people that do what you don't do better than you and trust their work.
Yep.
I can always go to sleep knowing the parts that Lynn has, he's going to do it with excellence, man, and he's always going to cover us. So That's it's a testament, bro. And yes, I'm excited about Unplugged, big homie. Let's go get it, man.
I'm bringing everything back.
Yeah,
everything come back. Comedy, everything coming back. So
well, it's going to be needed. It's going to be a blank canvas. You know what I mean? A blank canvas. So it's going to get started, man.
That it is.
All right. Then we're about to go ahead and wrap up, man. I thank you so much for weighing in, man, and coming in here today. It's so good to see you, brother. All right. Any last words from Malik?
No, I didn't set it all, man.
He like, bro, I'll text you, tell you. That's Lynn, yo.
All right, man.
Listen, real quick, I could say a million things about him, man, but I'm just proud of you, man, because I seen you coming up, Dave. You know what I'm saying? And to see you doing what you're doing, man. So where you at now? You in?
Now I'm in New York. I just tested the waters out in LA, and I think this is my last winter in the Northeast, bro. Like now we're Airbnb. I'd rather get an Airbnb for a few months.
Yep.
Stay out there and just better for my mental. Yeah, man. You know, it is funny to run into people who saw you when you were younger, because you're a little bit embarrassed. Where you're like, hey, I don't know what you've been seeing or what you've been doing. I'm an adult now. You know what I mean? But you know, I appreciate it, man. You know, we out here working hard. You know, and I keep you guys' stamp of approval in the back of my mind when I do things. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you guys are the blueprint for me. Also, like I said, you used to throw the flyest comedy shows. You know what I mean? And the guest list would be nothing but women. You know what I mean? Like I look at that. That's a big thing I look at now. If your comedy show is more than 50% dudes, nope, this ain't it.
Not gonna be a win. Not gonna be a win. Yeah.
Dudes with the wide leg jeans and the Timbs that ain't come to laugh at nothing. Nah, that's not what we here for, man. We want the women with the cocktail dresses that's ready to have a good time, you know?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Listen, Dave, equally, man, we're proud of you, bro.
Absolutely.
And to Lynn's point, man, it's good to see folk that are focused on excellence.
Yeah.
Now, everybody can have a microphone, a platform, you know, everybody can do a YouTube. But it's what you bring to it, the quality of content and the dedication that you bring to it, man. And to see you talk about the next steps, because I've actually had you on the show. And the other thing is, it's one thing to talk about, it's another thing to do it.
Yeah.
So podcasts go on and be like, yo, next up, I'm actually, you know, I'm doing the Coliseum in Rome, son. Like, it's like,
I ain't gonna lie, I do be talking a big game, but then I be having to go get it. I be mad sometimes. Like, why you say that, man? Now you gotta go do it, man.
Yeah, but you actually go do it, right?
Yeah.
It makes it easier on us who you know put the spotlight on it. But it's another thing to actually see that level of Black excellence and see you're willing to go take a risk.
Yeah.
A lot of people see the next level, but there's a risk from where you are to where that next level is. Do you take it all the time? So we love you and honor you for that.
All right, Lynn. Thanks for coming on, man.
No problem, man.
Big homie.
All right, I'll
hit you up, man.
All right.
All right, man. Malik, man, what a show we had here, man. This was some fun, man. I'm adding a little outro music. Just don't worry, it's lo-fi. It ain't no there's no like suing or nothing for that, you know. But wow, man, you know, we got to see you sing. We got to hear the Legend of Soul. We had countless high profile. You know what I like? You don't know any slackers. Everyone was high quality and they came on here to sing your praises. And that's really something, a testament. And I hope, you know, if anything, it fills your heart and you have a warm feeling today to understand, like, yeah, man, these people did come on here. These dope people came on here and came together and did this for me at the beginning of 2021. In the midst of everything that's going on, people took time out of their day to recognize your excellence, man. And
the dope part about it, Dave, is I'm blessed to have it, but I see it a little bit different. Like I see it as friends coming on to kick it.
Yeah.
You know? And that to me is one of the blessings, is that individuals that are all collected together in this crew, and you know this well, you're part of the family. Like it's not about ego, it's not about pride. Like we're just kicking it and finding ways to lift each other up. And I'm thankful that these moments happen. But the blessing of those non-slackers is that they pull you up when you're slacking. right? So I get a chance to look at everything y'all are doing. I'm like, yo, Dave is like tearing New York up, bro. I gotta actually turn my game up on this broadcast, like, so that he even wants to come back on, you know. And so it's those kind of things that help us to have not unhealthy competition, but a healthy sharpening of that iron, man. And so again, this show would not have been what it, you know, has been to all of us if you weren't hosting, man, and doing the work that you're doing. So we honor you, and I honor everybody that came on today, man, and spread some love.
Well, the steel will sharpen itself once again. I will be back on. If you want me to guest host, I'll do it any given time. All right?
No doubt.
We can do this like once a month, just so I get access to that audience.
Hey, and listen, we should actually do a quarterly takeover. We should do a Dave Temple takeover, and you just take the mic, bro, and we just blaze through the issues.
And to the audience, if you didn't catch any of my previous appearances, I'm Dave Temple. I'm a comic. I didn't talk that much about me because the show is about Malik. But now I'm going to take this moment to go ahead and plug me. Kendall, drink Malik on up out of here. Have a good time, man. Have a good day. Have a good rest of your day. All right. DaveTempleComedy.com.
Yeah.
Website. My special, the second one, dropped on Christmas Day. Okay. Christmas present to myself. I produced something in 2020 independently. No label, just me. All right. So if you're looking to support Black-owned businesses, just we're always doing, I want you guys to go check it out, laugh at it, stream it, share it with the people. Okay. And yeah, maybe when we come back, you guys will sing my praises. Be like, yo, you know what? That third joke. Oof. All right. So, but in the meantime, take care, people. Live, love, laugh. All right. This is Heart City TV. I am your host, Dave Temple. This was the Dave Temple Takeover, and we had fun here on From the Soul. Thank you.